Welcome everyone to ESPN's presentation of the 2011 Insight Bowl. Tonight from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, on a beautiful night in the Valley of the Sun. A Big Ten, Big 12 matchup, just the second meeting all time between Iowa and Oklahoma. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tempe. Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen will be joined shortly by Heather Cox. Delighted to have you with us. For the Oklahoma Sooners, tonight a chance to end a disappointing season on a high note, and it has been a disappointing year according to Coach Bob Stoops. He says anytime they don't win the Big 12, they're disappointed. They were #1 in the country at the start of the year. Their quarterback Landry Jones didn't have a great year by his standards either. Big night for him and his team tonight.
Yeah, really, and he's got to prove that he's the guy, which I think he has for the most part this season. And don't forget, they lost a lot of people this season. They lost Dominic Willie, their running back. Then they lost Ryan Broyles, the receiver. Key people. The quarterback is the guy who's got to get him over the edge. Tonight, he is the key. Landry Jones has to be able to carry this offense.
Ryan Broyles out with a knee injury, suffered 3 games ago. Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since then. He's thinking about coming out into the NFL draft at the end of his junior season. Another reason why it's a big night tonight for Jones. He's played about half the year without their leading rusher, Dominic Whaley. Broyles out the last 3, and no Jazz Reynolds tonight, their third leading wide receiver. Suffered a kidney injury that had him hospitalized for about a week after their loss at Oklahoma State. Bob Stoops, an Iowa graduate, coaching tonight against his alma mater. Tremendous record, fastest coach in the history of major college football to win 100 games. He's now won 138. It has them in a bowl game for the 13th year in a row, coinciding with the length of his tenure in Norman, and 13 straight bowl games is an Oklahoma record. Kenny Stills will be called upon to fill the void tonight in the absence of Broyles and Reynolds. Iowa won the toss and will receive. Patrick O'Hara will kick off for Oklahoma. Keenan Davis and Jordan Bernstein are back deep for Iowa. Oklahoma 9-3 for the year. Iowa 7-5. Iowa trying to defend its Insight Bowl championship a year ago when they upset Missouri under very similar circumstances. About 6 yards deep in the end zone. Bernstein took a knee. And Iowa will start from the 20-yard line, led by quarterback James Vandenberg Jr. from Keokuk, Iowa, southeast corner of the state. Had an up-and-down year like his team. Second in the Big Ten in passing yards per game at 234, behind only Russell Wilson of Wisconsin. Very efficient, as you saw, with 23 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Playing without Marcus Coker, their leading rusher, suspended tonight. It'll be running back by committee. They start with Brad Rogers, ordinarily a fullback. Lined up in a one-back set. He got 3 yards, tackled by Tony Jefferson. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Hawkeyes.
So when you watch this Iowa offense, you talked about they're missing their main running back in Marcus Coker. They're going to do it by committee tonight. The key to this offense will be this offensive line. That has been the one consistent thing all season long.
That is a trademark of Iowa. Blitz from Oklahoma. The pass incomplete, intended for Marvin McNutt and broken up by Tony Jefferson, who's been involved in both of the plays here to start the game. And Jefferson's a standout. Plays linebacker, plays safety, plays all over the place.
Oklahoma has a number of guys who can make plays, but they've also had a number of guys who've given up some big plays. And that's really what's hurt this defense in the last part of the season.
3rd down and 7. All right, thank you, Mark, and welcome everybody to Tempe, Arizona. Beautiful night here at Sun Devil Stadium. We're just underway. Iowa received the opening kickoff, started at its own 20-yard line, and they just converted on 3rd down and 7 from the 23 on a 10-yard pass from James Vandenberg to Marvin McNutt. Iowa 7-5, Oklahoma 9-3. The Hawkeyes playing without their leading rusher Marcus Coker, suspended for a violation of the student athlete code at the University of Iowa. Unspecified violation. Brad Rogers, the intended receiver there from Vandenberg. So it'll be running back by committee. Could be any one of 4 running backs tonight to whom Vandenberg will be handing the ball, Matt, and those 4 have a combined 38 carries for the year coming in, whereas Coker had 281 himself.
Yeah, just talking to the coaching staff this week, they said, you know, they really don't know what to expect in this game. So the key, however, is going to be this offensive line.
Jordan Canzeri is the tailback now, following Brad Rogers, and Canzeri fought his way back near the line of scrimmage, ridden out of bounds by Jamarcus McFarland and David King, 2 members of that defensive line for Oklahoma.
They just got a nice big push up front inside King and McFarland. And if that interior of that Oklahoma defense, if they can control the interior of this Iowa offensive line, that will bode well for them. They don't really have they have one guy who's a pass rusher, and that's Alexander on the outside. The rest of them, they're going to have to work to get things.
3rd down and 11. Iowa just converted on 3rd and 7. Vandenberg out of the shotgun. Throws incomplete, looking for Marvin McNutt, who was the Big Ten wide receiver of the year, and they'll need a big night for him tonight without Marcus Coker. Now 4th down.
Jamel Fleming, when you look at these guys, Fleming is probably a little bit better athlete than McNutt. He's a faster guy. McNutt has to run perfect routes here in order for him to be able to get to where he's going to go tonight in terms of getting open.
Eric Guthrie to punt to Kenny Stills. Ryan Broyles was their punt returner, leading active punt returner in the nation before he went out for the year with the knee injury 3 games ago. Line drive punt. Stills let it bounce, thought about fielding it on the bounce, and then got away from it. And it's downed at the 25 by Zach Derby. So here comes Landry Jones, junior from Artesia, New Mexico. We mentioned many believe he's had a disappointing year. That's hard to believe given that he's 4th in the country in passing yards per game, and he's thrown for 4,302. But the touchdowns are down, the interceptions are up. His play has been inconsistent. Mel Kiper the other day on SportsCenter said he was the most disappointing player in the country this year.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far, but he needs help. But he's going to have to carry this offense here tonight.
Tosses it right away to Roy Finch. And he goes out of bounds across the 30. Gain of 5, banged out by Sean Prater. Let's take a look at tonight's Impact Players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Finch is now their main ball carrier after they lost Dom Whaley, who was their leading rusher midseason, to a broken ankle. Stills is their leading receiver without Broyles and without Jazz Reynolds tonight, both out due to injury. Stills is very talented, 58 catches on the year. Finch spins ahead for a yard. James Morris, Thomas Nardo combined to upend him after a 1-yard gain. 3rd and 4 for Oklahoma, playing without Ryan Broyles for his ACL in their win in Norman against A&M after setting the all-time record in college football at this level with 349 career receptions. James Hanna, the tight end, in motion. Landry Jones with plenty of time, throws it in the flat. Trey Frank stops short of the 1st down, and an excellent tackle by the linebacker James Morris, their leading tackler for the year, sophomore from Solon, Iowa, right down the street from the University of Iowa.
Yeah, you're going to watch Morris. He's going to just jump to the outside because he's got that outside flat in coverage. And that's just good, disciplined defense. Staying where you have to be, letting the offense come to you. Let him throw underneath, Sean, and then make the tackle in front of you. Well done by Morris.
3 and out for Oklahoma on the Sooners' first possession of the night. Tress Way to punt. Oklahoma State came after him in the last game of the regular season and came close to a couple of blocks. He got that one off with ease, and Micah Hyde made a fair catch at the 21-yard line. 46-yard punt, no score here in Arizona.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
And Capital One Bowl Week continues with the 23rd annual Insight Bowl from Tempe, Arizona, Sun Devil Stadium. Iowa and Oklahoma, each team has had it once. Each team has punted. And the Hawkeyes begin 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. James Vandenberg, the quarterback, will go out of the shotgun. Jordan Canzeri. They faked it to him. Vandenberg, a pass that was batted down, incomplete. Here's Heather Cox.
Sean, Kirk Ferentz and Bob Stoops share a very deep Iowa bond and over 30 years of friendship. Bob Stoops was actually a defensive back at Iowa and then was an assistant coach there for 5 years. Kirk Ferentz was the O-line coach while Bob was a player for 2 years. The two actually interviewed for the head coaching job at Iowa on the same day. Now, just how strong are Coach Stoops' Iowa ties? Bob met his wife Carol at Iowa, and their 3 kids yell, "Go Hawkeyes," every game day. Bob insisted that chant won't happen today, saying, "We'll battle tonight, then tomorrow our family can go back to being Iowa fans."
Yeah, they remain very good friends. As a matter of fact, last year when Kirk Ferentz brought the Hawkeyes here for the Insight Bowl against Missouri, Stoops and the Sooners were out here to play in the Fiesta Bowl across the Valley of the Sun. Bob Stoops and Carol and the kids came over to this game dressed from head to toe in Hawkeye garb. Missouri Athletic Director Mike Alden didn't like that when he saw them. Fellow members, of course, at the time of the Big 12. Vandenberg on 3rd and 10, throws, intercepted by Jamel Fleming, and he's chopped down inside the 15-yard line by Riley Reif, and then a late flag is thrown.
Well, the one thing they had to do is be able to protect, and Sean, they got that part done very well. To be able to throw in the pocket. It looks like he just missed, or maybe the receiver maybe didn't follow through in his route.
Pac-12 officials tonight led by Jack Wood.
After the play, personal foul, number 16. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal, first down.
And the quarterback, James Vandenberg, called for the personal foul after just his 7th interception thrown this season.
Good protection. Has the ability to be able to set his feet and make the throw. And then on the outside, McNutt looks like he's going to anticipate him coming back to the inside. That didn't happen. Fleming's there, and it's a pick.
2nd interception of the year for Jamel Fleming. First team all Big 12 this season and last season. He was the defensive MVP of the Fiesta Bowl last year over the University of Phoenix Stadium. The win over Connecticut. Blake Bell is in at quarterback, hands it off to Trey Millard. Will play some fullback and some tailback tonight. He got stopped inside the 4-yard line by Christian Kirksey and LeBron Daniels. This has worked very well. They went to this Bell-dozer package with big Blake Bell coming in at quarterback mid-season. And he has scored 10 rushing touchdowns in about half a year. Jaden Bird, a linebacker, has come in as part of this package as well, leading the way for another touchdown. The 11th rushing touchdown of the year for Blake Bell. He was tied with Charles Thompson for the Oklahoma record for rushing touchdowns by a freshman quarterback. And now Bell has that record all by himself with his 11th score of the year, 4 yards out.
They're not trying to hide anything, Sean. They line up with a bunch of blockers. They say we're going to run the football, and then they just go ahead and do it.
I'm talking about how Landry Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in the last 3 games. This Bell-dozer package certainly is a factor in that as well. When they get down here, they don't throw it in, they run it in. Michael Honeycutt the extra point. 2nd play after the interception. Oklahoma scores. Blake Bell, and it's 7-0.
It's the day that I have always dreamed of.
ESPN College Football, the Insight Bowl, is brought to you by Insight, a proven provider of game-changing technology solutions for your business. The Lexus December to Remember sales event for a limited time at your Lexus dealer. And Taco Bell, think outside the box.
Blake Bell has now scored a rushing touchdown in each of the last 6 games for Oklahoma. And the Sooners lead 7-0, needing just 2 plays to go the 10 yards after the interception thrown by James Vandenberg, who's Been off target so far tonight. If that continues for Iowa, it could be a very long night. Hawkeyes 2 touchdown underdogs coming in. Patrick O'Hara kicks off. This one much shorter than his first, and down to Keenan Davis at the 10. They get banged down to the 26 by Trey Millard. Let's go back and take a look at the Oklahoma score.
Sean, look under here. You're going to see everybody's kind of loaded onto this side of the football over here with blockers. And so Iowa anticipates that, and they stunt their line this way. Oklahoma does a great job of anticipating their anticipation, uses it against them, goes back to the other side with the big fullbacks, and it's 6 quick.
Bell's a big guy, 6'6". Nearly 250 pounds. There's Jordan Canzeri, true freshman. Part of the running back by committee tonight. He's out to the 29-yard line. They list him at 172 pounds, and that might be a little generous.
Yeah, that might be soaking wet with a rock in his hand. I watched him practice the other day. Sean, he was so little. I mean, it was blatantly obvious. He had his helmet on. It was the biggest thing on his body. That was it.
Even James Vandenberg, his quarterback, referred to him as tiny. We met with James yesterday. Draw to Canzeri. And he has a first down. He is small, but Mike Daniels, their defensive lineman who tries to tackle him in practice regularly, said he's very strong, compact build, and hard to knock down with very good balance.
Looks like a wiry type of guy. He's got some toughness. And the coaches really liked him. I mean, he pulled his hamstring in the season, so he didn't get the kind of playing time that he would have liked. But when he was practicing and showing what he had, he was a guy who gave him some quickness, and he catches the ball well out of the backfield.
7-yard gain. Got him a first down. Play action pass for Vandenberg. Had time but couldn't find anybody. Now has a receiver, and it's Canzeri who got belted along the near sideline by Jefferson, but he held on. At least according to the officials. Travis Lewis over there arguing that Canzeri was juggling the ball across the boundary. At least for now, it's a 12-yard gain.
He was looking for McNutt on the top side. That wasn't there, and he finds Canzeri. Yeah, that's a catch.
I was going quickly, trying to head off a possible replay review. Canzeri gets hit hard again. And it's a gain of 2, but they're across midfield to the 49. Here's Heather.
Sean, you guys are talking about the true freshman Jordan Canzeri. He's had so many reps this season in a game that Kirk Ferentz said, I have absolutely no idea what to expect. The key is getting him out of the locker room. I'm afraid he's going to be so nervous. Once he gets his first couple hits, he should be fine. But guys, I watched Canzeri during warmups, and he was constant movement, fidgeting, bouncing up and down, side to side, teammates coming up to him, constantly drinking water. This is a ball of nerves, guys.
Short pass after the play fake. Vandenberg, the C.J. Fedorowicz, the tight end, and he has a first down to the 40-yard line of Oklahoma with a 9-yard gain. Marcus Coker, far and away their leading rusher for the year, 115 yards per game, but suspended for tonight for a violation of the University of Iowa student-athlete code of conduct. He's the second leading rusher in the Big Ten this year behind Monty Ball. But James Vandenberg said Coker's bigger and stronger, but the replacements tonight will be faster, quicker, and better in the passing game. So he's trying to emphasize the positive. Deep throw, a little too long for Marvin McNutt, with Jamel Fleming running in coverage. And Coker did by far the bulk of the ball carrying, 281 rushing attempts, most in the Big Ten. The next highest total on their team, 18 carries by DeAndre Johnson.
Now he's a workhorse, and he gets, they'll hand him the ball, and he kept on going. He's a power guy, mostly an inside running type, not the quickness that Canzeri brings him right here.
And he is performing very well. Down to the 28-yard line, 12-yard gain in the first down, and it's reminiscent of a year ago when Iowa came to this game without Adam Robinson, then their leading rusher. He was suspended. Coker took his place and starred in their win against Missouri.
Well, you heard Heather talking about being a ball of nerves, and being anxious and trying to get that first hit out of the way. Well, after Jefferson lowered the boom on him, I would think that would get rid of the nerves right there.
Knocked the nerves right out of him. And they stick with Canzeri, and he stopped for a 2-yard loss. So without Coker, the coaches really weren't sure who would be. Perhaps any one of these 4 who were ordinarily tailbacks. You saw Brad Rogers as a fullback starting the game in a 1-back set. These 4 combined had 38 carries for the year coming into tonight.
Well, I know one thing. That guy right there, that is as good a coach as there is in all the NCAA. This is a well-prepared team, and he does as good a job of anybody of taking what he has and playing with the cards he's dealt.
Vandenberg, another poor pass. Deflected by Frank Alexander, a co-Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, 5th-year senior defensive end. Dropped into coverage there.
Yeah, they were dropping him. They were bringing the outside, and they were going to drop him. They know that Alexander's the best pass rusher on this Oklahoma defense.
A.J. Klein of Iowa State shared that honor with Alexander. And Matt, if Iowa's going to pull off the upset tonight, Vandenberg has to be sharper. This is reflective of the way the year's gone for him.
Yeah, and he's kind of a flow guy, and he needs to get into the flow a little quicker than he is right now.
Been inconsistent throughout the year, and again tonight now he wants a timeout with the 10th play of the drive upcoming. 3rd down and 12. More than midway through the first quarter. Oklahoma leads 7-0. But the Hawkeyes are on the move. Back at the Insight Bowl for just the 2nd meeting all time between Iowa and Oklahoma. The other meeting was in September of 1979. First year for Hayden Fry as head coach at Iowa. Bob Stoops played safety that day, and like the rest of his teammates had a very tough time tackling Billy Sims, who rushed for over 100 yards in the Oklahoma win. Oklahoma wound up going 11-1 that year. Barry Switzer. 3rd and 12 for these Iowa Hawkeyes. Vandenberg's going to run for the first down. Dives down at the 14-yard line.
Good decision by Vandenberg. He sees it quickly. He spread everybody out. They tried to match it up on the outside, and once he sees backs turn to him, he knows it's an invitation to run.
They needed 12. He got 15. And the drive continues. 11th play. Canzeri squirts down to the 9-yard line. Well, last year Coker was the stand-in for Adam Robinson, and all Coker did was rush for 219 yards for Iowa in their upset win over Missouri. And Kirk Ferentz was saying this Insight Bowl's almost scary how similar it is to last year. Iowa 7-5 coming here, an underdog against the team Missouri that had a junior quarterback who was thinking about going to the NFL draft. Blaine Gabbert. Gabbert had a big night. He went in the NFL draft. Jones in the same situation tonight for Oklahoma. He hopes the results the same this year. Canzeri again ran into Tom Wart, sophomore middle linebacker.
Boy, I like him. Tom Wart plays with good intensity. He runs really well. He's got some good toughness. What I like about him is one of the few linebackers in the NCAA that'll hit you with his face. His face and hands first. And that's the significance, Sean, because a lot of guys play with their hands too much and they don't shock the blockers. This kid, he'll shock you. He'll shock you, and he has a little violence in him. He'll get off blocks. He's fun to watch.
Originally from England. Moved to this country to Texas in the 5th grade. 3rd down and 4. Iowa just inside the 9. It's a running play, and it'll depend on where they spot it down. They're going to mark Canzeri short of the first down, and Kirk Ferentz has the decision to make. 4th down and less than a yard after the run by the freshman from Troy, New York. Kirk Ferentz said we got involved with Canzeri very late. He was going to go to Villanova, an FCS school, and at the last minute change course. They are going for it. They're trying to snap it quickly.
See the umpire stand over the ball. That was the right thing.
And they won't get there. Canzeri had no shot. Wart the first to penetrate, and then a host of Sooners right behind him. Kirk Ferentz irate about something on the sideline.
I want you to watch Marvin McNutt. Nobody covered him. There's no one out there.
And Fleming ran on late, so that might be what Kirk Ferentz is hollering about.
Exactly.
You like the decision to go for it?
Yeah, that's a tough one down there. You got to get some points. You got to get some points on the board right there. What he was doing is he had some confidence in the way his offensive line had been playing.
Well, if Vandenberg even looked to his left, it would have been a touchdown.
Wide open.
He saw McNutt.
He has to be talking about Fleming running on, like you're saying. He came from out of bounds and then came in, ran through Iowa territory.
Oklahoma takes over at the 9, and Finch is stopped for a big loss back near the 2. Mike Daniels, their outstanding defensive tackle. Josh Heupel, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, says he's as good an inside defensive lineman as they will have faced this year.
Not a big man in terms of being tall, but he's a powerful man. And he's finally healthy. He's the first time he's healthy probably all season long. Been fighting off ankle and Achilles injuries that have been nagging him.
Loss of 7 on the play. Jones out of the gun from the end zone, swings it out. It's dropped off the hands of Trey Franks. Well, let's go back to the 4th down and a yard when Iowa tried to snap it quickly and catch Oklahoma off guard. There's McNutt by himself, and there's Fleming on the sideline.
Fleming's on the sideline. McNutt is saying, hey, throw the ball here.
And he also might have been offside.
And that's what they were yelling about on the sidelines. That's what Ferentz is yelling and getting after the officials on.
Reese Morgan, the offensive line coach, Ken O'Keefe, they all saw it. 3rd down and 17. Big play here. Iowa pressures Jones, and it's almost intercepted by LeBron Daniel. Looked like they were trying to set up a screen out of the end zone. Dangerous play intended for Roy Finch. And LeBron Daniel almost had a pick 6. Ooh, if he could catch the ball, he would have had a pick 6.
Yeah. Norm Parker dials up a little bit of pressure. Binge comes off the left end untouched, but Daniels is the guy who keyed that whole thing. That first down play put a little bit of oomph back into that defense.
Tress Way almost on the back line of the end zone. And Micah Hyde back for the punt, standing at the 45. Oh, it's a bomb. Field position changer. What a kick by Way. Out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A 67-yard punt. His longest of the season. And Iowa will take over again. 3:23 to go first quarter. 7-0 Oklahoma. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen. Iowa team that has struggled to move the ball for a lot of the year during their 7-5 season. Even though they didn't score the last time, if you're a Hawkeye fan, would you take some optimism from the movement?
Yeah, particularly with the offensive line. That's the big deal. That's been their consistent strength all season long, and it's working right now against an Oklahoma front. And Kenzeri is taking advantage of that because he's been gaining a lot of his yards on the interior.
And he's the single back. Gets the handoff from Vandenberg. He got splattered again by Corey Nelson. Honorable mention, all Big 12 linebackers. He can play in the secondary. Even played some defensive end against Iowa State.
One of the most versatile players in college football. He can put his hand in the dirt. If you ask him to rush as an outside linebacker, he can do it. If you ask him to play a 34 backer or 4-3 backer, can do all those things. Athletic, smart.
Gain of 3. Kenzeri off left tackle, slipped down. Looked like he had some running room. Tony Jefferson tripped him up.
You know, Sean, I think Kenzeri's one of those guys, because he's so small, he has great little quickness. But when he does get hit, I think, you know, there's a lot of, when he gets hit, he flies pretty easily. So they knock him off, they knock him around, but I think it may not be as bad as it looks.
Kenzeri is carried on the last 6 snaps for Iowa. 3rd down and 5. Vandenberg just 3 out of 11 passing. Rogers was the running back. Vandenberg incomplete again. Looking for Keenan Davis. There's a flag down. Might be for pass interference. With Demontre Hurst in coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. Oh, he places his spot on the foul. Automatic first down.
Yeah, it looks like he may have gotten his top arm. Here's Hurst down below. It's just going to be an in route right here. He reads it perfectly. Now he gets his hand on him up top. See that?
Hurst, the second-year starter, junior from Lancaster, Texas. Second team All Big 12 this year. Well, the penalty helps Iowa convert on third down. Rogers remains the running back. Vandenberg throws, caught. Keenan Davis, first down across midfield again to the 48 of Oklahoma. Tom Wart made the tackle. It's a 12-yard pickup for the Hawks.
Well done by the offensive line. It gives great protection, and he's able to find him down below. Nice step into that throw. Keenan Davis is able to come clean. Watch the protection, watch the step.
James Vandenberg from Keokuk, Iowa, southeast corner of the state, right on the Mississippi River. He told us he's about a mile from Missouri and about a mile from Illinois. Play action fake. He's in trouble and sacked by Travis Lewis, who came on a blitz.
They showed it right away. Walked up inside in that A gap, and that forces you to have. You're going to watch him inside right here. Forces you to make a decision inside how you're going to handle it. They didn't get it done. It looked like Tobin was going to try to come down 60 the guard. He wasn't able to handle that, and it's a sack.
One of the top sack teams in the country. Came into tonight's game with 37 as a team, 7th in the nation. Lewis, senior, hasn't had an explosive year due to a broken toe suffered in the preseason. Second and 19. Kanziri trying to get some of the sack yardage back. Got to the 49. Third down and 13 to come.
Well, you mentioned about Travis Lewis. He broke his toe in the preseason, and they thought he was going to miss significant time, and he didn't. In fact, he played with a cast inside his shoe. And while that slowed him down in his movement, the one thing, Travis Lewis has good movement. But what you want to see more of from him is more physical at the point of attack. Wirt does that better than Lewis does.
Coaches just feel that toe has cost him some explosiveness that he had demonstrated in previous years. Vandenberg running out of time, throws short. Kanziri gets about 4. They'll be well short of the first down on the final play of the first quarter. It'll be 4th and 10 for Iowa near midfield. When the second quarter of the Insight Bowl begins with Oklahoma leading 7-0.
It's the day that I have always dreamed of.
On to the second quarter of the Insight Bowl here in Tempe, Arizona at Sun Devil Stadium. Oklahoma leading 7-0, despite the fact they ran just 8 plays from scrimmage in the first quarter. It had 7 yards of offense. Interception. Set up a short touchdown run by Blake Bell. Eric Guthrie punts for Iowa from midfield on 4th and 10. Fair catch signal made by Stills, and the Hawkeyes couldn't down it. Inside the 5-yard line. DJ Lowry was there, couldn't get to it. We mentioned it's been a disappointing year for Oklahoma, ranked number 1 in the preseason. They started out 6-0, right in the thick of the national championship conversation. Then a shocking loss to Texas Tech, snapping their 39-game home winning streak. Then the major injuries piled up. The very next week they lost Dom Whaley at Kansas State to a leg injury. Ryan Broyles the week after that tore his ACL. They wound up losing 2 of their last 3, and they got hammered in Stillwater in the Bedlam game. Oklahoma State, its biggest win of that rivalry since 1947. Brennan Clay, the ball carrier for OU, out to the 22. And one of the big questions, Matt, was how excited would Oklahoma be to play in this game?
Yeah, I think very excited, and I think the key to that.
There's Landry Jones sacked. Well, certainly don't look like they're in sync on offense. Mike Daniels dropped Jones back at the 12-yard line.
Mike Daniels came to play. I mean, we saw that yesterday. We were sitting there talking to him. But the indicator for me for Oklahoma was they got real physical for this month of preparation for this game.
Trying to up the tempo here. Jones again under duress, throws it short for Brennan Clay, and he's well short of the first down. So another 3 and out for Oklahoma. They still don't have a first down.
I'm a little surprised that they haven't gone to, I mean, the biggest weapon is Landry Jones. And they've been trying to establish the run here early, and it's played to what the strength of this Iowa defense has been able to do. Has been pretty solid against the run. I'm surprised they haven't tried to throw the football with Landry Jones.
There's Tress Way to Padilla, that 67-yarder out of the end zone that was huge. Whoa! They came after it and almost got it. Micah Hyde telling his mates to get away from it. It's a little long punt. Nice roll for Way down to the 27-yard line. 49-yard punt. Still 7-0 Oklahoma. Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow. Another big day of college football action on ESPN and ABC. It starts at noon Eastern on ESPN. Texas A&M and Northwestern in the Meineke Car Care Bowl of Texas. Then at 3:30 on ABC, Cincinnati and Vanderbilt in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Or on ESPN, you can see Illinois and UCLA in the Kraft Flight Hunger Bowl. Finally at 7:30 Eastern, ESPN, Virginia and Auburn in the Chick-fil-A. All tomorrow on ESPN, ABC. ESPN 3, throwback by Vandenberg, dangerous pass for virtually no gain, caught by Jordan Canzeri. Among those games tomorrow, Matt, Northwestern trying to avoid losing its 9th straight bowl game, which would tie Notre Dame's record for most consecutive bowl losses.
And Dan Purse will have something to say about that.
He's good.
He's a good football player. 2
very good quarterbacks in that game. A&M's Ryan Tannehill, top NFL prospect. That's at noon. A&M and Northwestern. 2nd and 10. Iowa's had the edge in play, but the big turnover, interception thrown by Vandenberg led to an Oklahoma score. Canzeri out just shy of the 30. It'll be 3rd down and a little more than 7.
You're talking about all these NFL players and all these bowl games, and we got a couple of them right here. Riley Reif, the left offensive tackle, just a junior, but highly ranked, and a good physical kid. He was an outstanding wrestler. He's a 300-pounder. In high school, he was 121-1, 3-time state champion. Going against Frank Alexander, that is a nice little game within a game.
2 of the best at their positions in the country. Alexander couldn't get around Reif there, and Vandenberg throws deep and too long for Marvin McNutt, with Aaron Colvin, the safety man, in coverage.
Well, you're going to want to have good protection, and Reif gives it to him right here. Alexander just going to, you're going to have to get an edge when you're rushing a guy like Riley Reif. And because he had that time, McNutt not quite down the field where they're kind of out of sync. I agree with you, Sean. They just don't look kind of in sync right now in this passing game.
Well, Vandenberg's off. Line drive punt, not a good one by Guthrie, and still with some room made a fair catch at the 34-yard line. And Oklahoma get the offense moving. 36-yard punt.
ESPN College Football, the Insight Bowl, is brought to you by the new Capital One Cash Card for people who want 50% more cash, and Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oklahoma's run 11 plays. They have 11 yards of offense, but they lead 7-0. Here's Heather.
Sean, Landry Jones is known as a quiet, unassuming player who leads by example, not known for being vocal. Well, he just stepped out of his comfort zone. He gathered his entire offense shouting, "We're playing soft, let's pick it up, we're better than this, bring some energy, let's play some ball." And guys, the local radio reporter who's with the Sooners every game just told me that's the first time he's seen Landry Jones do that all season long.
He's 2 for 4 passing. He sends Kenny Stills in motion to the right. And they go to some trickery as it's Franks who can fly, and it's well defended by LeBron Daniel.
Well done by Daniel, because he's getting blocked by the quarterback, and he fought him off and was able to get outside and put an edge to that thing. Lots of work off Landry Jones. Makes the play.
You want to get Franks down. He was a two-time 100-meter champ in high school in Texas. There's a lot of fast guys in the state of Texas. Emil Jackson the reception. There's a first down for Oklahoma. Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator at age 70, retiring after tonight's game. This is his 497th game as a college assistant coach. And there's Mike Daniels again. He told us yesterday we want to send Norm Parker off with a win. And Norm Parker won't let us. Norm keeps telling the players it's not about me. Go out there and win it for yourself. But they are so eager to give Norm Parker a victory in his last game.
Mike Daniels plays with great leverage. He's not a tall guy. They list him at 6'1". They may be a little lion right there, but he is a powerful man, and he's been coming off the ball inside. They have not stopped him all night.
He's been hampered by sprained ankles all year long. The month before the bowl game has really helped him. The toss back to Brennan Clay. James Morris stood him up. Still 10 yards short of a first down after a 9-yard loss on the sack. And Norm Parker, one of the terrific defensive coordinators in college football for a long time, 13 years, the entire Kirk Ferentz era, on the staff at Iowa. Named the National Assistant Coach of the Year by the American Football Coaches Association this year, and a vote of his peers. He'll be honored at their convention. 3rd down and 11. Jones likely changing the play. Has time and throws, caught, first down. Emil Jackson again, true freshman from Arlington, Texas, who has been getting much more playing time with the injury to Broyles and now to Reynolds.
Well, the whole thing starts because they're able to protect, giving him time. And when this guy has time to throw, he can carve you up. He's playing a zone back there, and with that time, you're able to find the holes in that thing.
15-yard gain. 11 catches this year for Jackson. 8 of them have come in the last 4 games since Broyles went down. Play action fake by Landry Jones, and it's through the hands of Kenny Stills with Sean Prater, first team all Big Ten cornerback in coverage.
This is more what I was expecting to see out of this Oklahoma offense. That one's just off the fingertips of Kenny Stills. But when this offense is on, it's on the shoulders of Landry Jones. Landry Jones, and he's very, very capable. And he's got some young receivers out there. They're just going to have to pick up the slack for what Broyles left.
Jones has not decided if he'll come back for his senior year. Tonight could play a part in his decision making. Pinch the catch. He's down to the 25. It's a lot like last year, as we mentioned, when Blaine Gabbert came here from Missouri. He wasn't sure if he was going to come back for his senior. He had a huge night in the loss to Iowa. Really impressed the NFL scouts who were here. Wound up moving into the top half of the first round of the NFL draft. And Bob Stoops says when this game is over, they'll go through the process, get the information, the projections from the NFL people about where Landry Jones is likely to slot in. Our Todd McShay has him as the 17th overall player, which would put him in the middle of the first round. Might have been helped by the fact, certainly was, that Matt Barkley didn't come out.
Well, he's a talented guy, and there's no question he has the talent to play at the next level. The question is, does he want to improve? Can he improve over next year? And then there's always the risk of injury.
Don't you think he has plenty of room for improvement?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Here's Finch trying to turn the corner. There are flags down. He got 2 for the 23. Jordan Bernstein and Sean Prater combined to stop him. Flag thrown in the middle of the offensive line.
Yes. At the line. Holding. Offense, number 69. Penalty, 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Lane Johnson, the right tackle, as Franks limps off. Really can't afford any more injuries at wide receiver. There's Johnson as he got tangled up with Broderick Binns.
He was fine all the way till the end when he yanked that shoulder to the inside. He was fine within the framework, and then once Binns tries to get off and he pulled the shoulder inside, that's what they're going to bang every time.
Of course, Oklahoma has plenty of recent experience going through the decision-making process with the quarterback. Sam Bradford came back. And Jones on target to James Hanna, the tight end, down to the 21-yard line. And of course, Bradford had the nightmare. He got hurt after coming back, but he still wound up being the #1 overall pick in the draft.
And you watch Landry Jones, there's a lot of things to like about him. He can't make all the throws, and he does it easily. Poise under pressure. At times he's good, and times that's what gets him, Sean. There's sometimes he gets a little bit of happy feet, and I think that's where he can get better for the next level.
He doesn't get a lot of pressure. They throw it quickly. And had very few sacks given up this year. Now he's going to run for the first down. He got belted, and there will be flags thrown by every official on the field at Jordan Bernstein.
That's a tough one right there. Just as he's going down, Bernstein is coming in for the hit. And it's one of those plays that as an official, you really have to make the throw. But as a defender, it's a tough, you don't quite know where to go. And so you're always preaching to your defenders to be aggressive.
Personal foul, defense, number 4. Penalty will be half the distance from the spot of foul, the end of the run, automatic first down.
Yeah, well, that's helmet to helmet.
Yeah. Now they're going to make that call.
Yeah, they have to.
And
that's exactly what they're trying to get rid of in every level of football. Leading with the helmet, cracked him right in the helmet. Jones goes out. Apparently not because he's wobbly. This is where they go to that Belldozer package with Blake Bell, who scored the only touchdown of this game from 4 yards out. Jaden Bird, the linebacker, number 55, over there helping out as a blocker. Without Aaron Ripkowski, one of their fullbacks tonight due to injury. And Bell bulldozes his way inside the 4.
And the other guy in that is Trey Millard. And that Millard is as versatile a player as you're going to see in all of college football. He can play tight end. He can be a running back. He can play fullback. He'll be your H-back, go back and forth and catch the ball out of the backfield. That kid's a good football player. He's going to play for a long time.
Just a sophomore from Columbia, Missouri. They look to the sidelines for help. 2nd and goal, midway through the second quarter. Oklahoma already leading 7-0. Here's Bell trying to turn the corner. He walks in untouched. He is a touchdown scoring machine for the Sooners.
It's just power football. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You have this, the big Belldozer right there.
Great block by Miller.
Yeah, Miller he always does a good job.
Flat Sean Prater.
He'll take you physically up top if he has to, and if you try to play him off with your hands, he'll take out your knees.
Michael Honeycutt, freshman place kicker. One of the bright spots of this season, according to Bob Stoops. And his extra point's good. First sustained offense of the night from Oklahoma. 12 plays, 66 yards, and Bell has scored his 2nd touchdown of the night, both from 4 yards out. Capital One Bowl Week concludes Monday with 4 more games, all starting at noon. ESPNU, Houston Cougars and Penn State, the Ticket City Bowl at 1 Eastern. ABC has an attractive matchup of the Outback Bowl, Michigan State and Georgia. ESPN with Nebraska and South Carolina, another good one in the Capital One Bowl.
Games there.
And at ESPN2, it's Ohio State and Florida, the Urban Meyer Bowl. Actually, it's the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl, all Monday at ESPNU. ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. Of course, Monday night we have a little game right down the street.
Yeah, that's not going to be too shabby either.
Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Very nice game.
Stanford and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma leads 14-0 as Patrick O'Hara kicks off. Eden Davis from the 4. Hands it off. Jordan Bernstein. That wasn't all that tricky. They weren't very far apart. Didn't really set it up. Let's set up Reese Davis in the studio at the Sports Center right now. Reese.
See, what'd be really tricky, Sean, is if Tom Brady tried to throw with his left hand, but he's not going to do that, and he is going to play. He's got a bad left shoulder, listed as probable Sunday against the Bills. Was somewhat limited during practice today. Belichick was asked what he did, and he said, play quarterback. Mississippi State beat Wake Forest 23-17. Old Vic Ballard went for $180 as the SEC starts the bowl season 1-0.
All right, Reese, thank you. Here it's Big 10, Big 12, and the Sooners out of the Big 12 lead 14-0. Damon Bullock, the ball carrier now, as running back by committee continues for Iowa. Frank Alexander made the tackle.
I think overall for Iowa, I think what they wanted to do coming in here is fine. I think the offensive line is doing well. I think Kanzeri's doing fine. Vandenberg was the X factor. Right now, he's not played very well.
6 for 15. They've moved the ball. They got stopped on that 4th down inside the 10-yard line. And they have to take advantage when they get opportunities tonight. Bullock's in trouble, and he's taken down for a loss back at the 16. David King and Frank Alexander again. What a year Alexander's had. 5th-year senior out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, this is really well done. Just coming off up top against the tight end and working off Riley Reif as well. He holds the edge, and when you have a defense, you have to have a point to defend. Alexander set the point, and then here comes the help. Well done.
Second team Walter Camp All-American, in addition to being the Big 12 co-defensive player of the year.
Playing that right side in college, he looks like a left defensive end to me at the next level.
Vandenberg on 3rd and 12, under pressure, got it off for a first down to Keenan Davis, who got smacked at the 37 by Joseph Iboloye and Tony Jefferson, and that stung Davis, who comes off after a 21-yard gain.
Watch the window he throws into. And here, that's as good as it gets right there, Sean. And so it's the inconsistency that we've seen here out of Vandenberg. Remember, 2 years ago, we watched him against Ohio State. He almost pulled off a massive upset and was just as good as could be. And this year, he's had very good games, and he's had average games. He needs to be more consistent.
Hands it off to Bullock. Flag thrown where you'd expect a holding call. Bullock's another true freshman running back. Just had 8 carries for the year prior to tonight. Out of Mansfield, Texas. Tom Wart and Jamel Fleming combined on the stop.
Holding, offense number 73. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Adam Geddes, senior right guard, 2nd team all Big 10. Coach Ferentz calls him the Cobra because he will strike you.
Yeah, well, that time he didn't strike. That time he bit, and he held on, and he shouldn't have. And you know, when you watch this Oklahoma defense, there's a couple guys who keep showing up on tape all the time. One of them is Jamel Fleming on the outside. And you know what I really like about him, Sean? He's a corner who'll tackle you, and he gets involved.
1st and 20. Oops. Oh.
Yeah,
Flag down. Accidental telestration and a big play, but what's the flag? It's Cavante Martin Manley to the 35-yard line of Oklahoma, chased out by Iboloye. But there are flags at the line of scrimmage. 38-yard gain if it stands. But Travis Lewis is indicating it's going against Iowa.
Illegal formation, offense. Too many men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Very uncharacteristic of Iowa. 9th in the country in fewest penalty yards per game. Only 35 penalty yards per game, but they're hurting themselves here tonight. Almost to their average per game for the season. And Ken O'Keefe said they cannot get behind the chains. They're way behind them.
Yeah. It probably had somebody line up wrong. A wide receiver maybe who should have covered a tackle probably was in the backfield.
Wipes out a huge play. 1st and 25. Vandenberg after the fake. Room in the flat for Bullock. And he's chopped down by Fleming, living up to Matt's description as a spirited tackler.
He's easy to like. You put him on a guy, ask him to cover a man-to-man outside, he can do that. You ask him to blitz, sometimes he'll do that for you. But the best part for me with Fleming is that he has an opportunity to make a tackle. he doesn't shy away from it. And I've been around some guys, some corners, and they get allergic to the tackles. Not that kid.
Is that a little alarm? Tell us about a game coming at noon tomorrow?
Must be.
We still have a little time. It's the next game up. There's Vandenberg, who staggered a bit as he threw it in the general direction of Marvin McNutt, who's been well covered tonight.
By Jamel Fleming. Yeah, and he's locked up on him. McNutt is a receiver who doesn't have great speed. He's probably a 4.55 guy, maybe 4.6-ish. And when you have that type of speed, what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to use your body, but more important, in your routes, they all have to look the same. You have to be able to control your hips and get in and out of your breaks, make everything look the same.
One catch tonight, 79 for the year. That's 3 away from Iowa's single season record of 82 by Kevin Casper back in 2000. Vandenberg on 3rd and 14. Didn't get rid of it and got flattened by R.J. Washington.
Working against Riley Reef. Reef just pushes him up the field. Kind of, whoa, got some power on Reef. And Reef tries to set him up the field. Watch him just come with power. He got inside on him. And that's a sack. Well done there.
Here's Guthrie. 6'6" punter. I don't often see a punter that tall, but he was a cornerback in high school in Nevada, Iowa. That's even more rare. He's 6'6" cornerback. Fair catch made by Stills. 47-yard punt from the big fella.
Welcome back to the Insight Bowl, where the Oklahoma Sooners are up 14-0 despite being without their star wide receiver Ryan Broyles, who joins me now. Ryan, you tore your ACL 4 games ago, had surgery in late November. How's the rehab, and what's your timeline like for return?
We're going strong. You know, every day I'm trying to learn something new, get better in any situation I can. Time period 6 months out. I'm 5 weeks out right now. I'm starting to pull in 5 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that.
Now, your offense has struggled without you, hasn't scored a passing touchdown since your injury. What advice have you given to your wide receiver group for tonight?
You know, just be ready. There's going to be play calls that come up, and you got to be ready to catch the ball when the time comes.
Now, a hot topic has been your quarterback, Landry Jones. I know you guys are very good friends. What are your thoughts on whether or not he'll return or go to the NFL next year?
With Landry, I don't feel like he can go wrong. He's a great quarterback. Everyone always has something to learn, no matter if you're 30 years old. So he's a young guy right now, and I feel like if he came back, it would just help his game even more.
Has he given you any indication about what he wants to do?
No, ma'am.
Thanks so much. We wish you a speedy recovery. And Sean and Matt, rumors down here are certainly that Landry is going to the NFL. We'll wait and see.
All right, Heather, thank you. After a 6-yard gain on first down by Franks, Finch carries and got only 1, so it'll be 3rd down and 3. It was a good try by Heather. See if he can get a little scoop. They are very tight. James Morris injured. That would be a big loss if he can't return, their leading tackler.
Yeah, I also watched Marcus Zuzovic, their starting right offensive tackle, walk off earlier.
That's bothered all week by the flu and apparently was sick again on the sideline. Zuzovic has gone to the dressing room. Blake Bell back in there, quarterback. And he lunges. I don't think he got to that yellow line.
Short.
Tanner Miller came up from his safety spot. And they've got him down to about the length of a football short, it seems, of the first down.
Tanner Miller came up, but the guy who made the play was Mike Daniels again. Got pressure up the field and forced him a little bit wider, and that allowed the rest of the defenders to come up and make the play. And Mike Daniels has played a heck of a first half here.
Rare time, the Belldozer was stopped. Micah Hyde back for the punt. And Tress Way. Hyde had a huge play at the Inside Bowl last year, an interception return for a touchdown against Missouri that was the winning score. No chance to run this one back. 17-yard line will be the line of scrimmage after we check in with Reese Davis.
Sean, coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, perhaps they will call it, at least for a day, the house that Rutgers built in the Big Apple. Will take you to the new era Pinstripe Bowl. Also show you a little helmet optional football, just the way Mark May likes it from his offensive linemen. And the SEC and the ACC men up. Dr. Lou will join us to talk about Mississippi State's win. See you in just a few minutes.
Well, the Big East takes some heat in football, but they win their fair share of bowl games.
Yes, they do.
Second year in a row the Big East has won the Pinstripe Bowl. Syracuse won last year against K-State. Jason White, the ball carrier. We mentioned running back by committee. He's a senior from Davenport, Iowa. That was his 5th career carry.
Well, we said we'd see a lot of them, and we are. The one thing we also were hoping to see is more consistency out of this passing game, and we have not seen that.
Here's White again. He gets the first down. Iowa has 2 timeouts. The field position is still shaky, and by nature they tend to be a conservative outfit. The mistakes have hurt them. The things you can't do when you're a big underdog. Turnover that led to a score. Some key penalties have hampered the Hawkeyes. Vandenberg over the middle. Incomplete. Dropped by White. It was a walk-on. Chose to walk on at Iowa because it was always his dream to play for the Hawkeyes, as has been the case for so many young boys who grew up in the state of Iowa.
You know, you watch this Iowa football team, they're fundamentally sound. They remind me, I said this earlier, maybe a year ago, in watching them, they remind me of their wrestling team. They wrestle right in the middle of the mat. They're tough. They expect you to come right to them. They don't back down from anything. I always have loved this program.
Brett Van Sloten is in at right tackle for the ill Zusevics. That's a first down on the catch by Davis. They have 2 timeouts. I mean, if you're going to go, why not use one of them?
May as well. He's got decent protection here. He's able to step into that. When he's had the time, he's been able to step and throw. They've been pretty good.
And we saw time management hurt them last year when we did some Iowa games. And that's about 5 or 6 seconds that ran off the clock before they got the timeout. While we were away, the referee Jack Wood told the clock operator to put 5 seconds back on the clock, so Iowa did get the timeout right at the end of the play as they were moving the chains. 17 seconds left and 1 timeout left for Kirk Ferentz. Vandenberg 9 out of 20 in the half for 89 yards and a very costly interception that led to an Oklahoma score, and now he's down on the turf back at the 34-yard line.
That snap wasn't good right there.
And then they're going to let the half end.
Not a real good half for Vandenberg, not a real good half for Marvin Nutt as well.
Yeah, just 1 catch. Really just 1 sustained drive for Oklahoma, but the defense set up the other score. Bob Stoops leads his alma mater 14-0 as they head for the locker room. And here's Heather Cox.
Sean, thank you. Coach, without Marcus Coker, you vowed you'd still be a run-first team. How would you assess the way your running back by committees performed in the first half?
I think those guys are doing a good job. You know, we've made some mistakes that have hurt us a little bit, but those guys are working hard.
James Vandenberg, your quarterback, 9 of 20 in the first half. What do you need to change to get him to be a little bit more efficient?
Well, you know, I think we have to help him out a little bit, try to protect him a little bit more, and then work harder getting open. And, you know, we have some opportunities. We just got to cash in on them.
Coach, thanks so much.
He's exactly right. They've hurt themselves with some key mistakes. Halftime at the 2011 Insight Bowl, 14-0. Oklahoma leads Iowa. Now to the studio. Reese Davis, Mark May, and Lou Holtz, the H&R Halftime Report.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Today is the day. It's the day that I have always dreamed of. Forever. When you call me the champ of the world.
We welcome you back to the 2011 Insight Bowl on ESPN. The Iowa Hawkeyes taking the field for the second half, trailing Oklahoma 14-0 at halftime, despite the fact that James Vandenberg and the Hawkeyes had a slight edge. Statistically, it was certainly a defensive battle in the first half. Oklahoma leads 14-0. They had just 89 yards of offense, 66 of those 89 yards coming on 1 touchdown drive. Really the only drive their offense had all night long. The defense set up the other short touchdown. Welcome back to Tempe, Sean McDonough and Matt Millen. Rejoined by Heather Cox in a moment. What do you look for in the second half?
Well, I think for Oklahoma, I think it's got to be Landry Jones. We talked about it at the start of the game. You got to put the ball in his hands. He's been their playmaker all season, and I think you go with that. I think it's been a defensive game, really, for both sides, Oklahoma and Iowa. And I think when you're talking about Iowa, it's got to be Vandenberg. Vandenberg's got to pick his game up, and he's not going to be able to get it from Marvin McNutt because Jamel Fleming has taken McNutt out of this game, so he's going to have to go other places.
Just one catch for McNutt. Needs 3 more to tie the single-season Iowa reception record. Needs 5 more to tie Darrell Johnson-Koulianos for the all-time career reception mark. Mike Myers kickoff down to Trey Franks. The kicker slowed him up just long enough to prevent a touchdown. Jason White made the tackle. Mike Meyer, the kicker, slowed him down just enough to stop the former 100-meter dash champion in the state of Texas in high school from going the distance.
Well, you said it right, because when he's out in the open field, there's nobody going to be able to tackle him. Nicely done by the kicker to be able to force him back inside. Kind of stumbled a little bit, and the play was made.
52-yard return. Landry Jones 7 for 11 in the first half for 70 yards. Still no touchdowns. Hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in the previous 3 games. And again, every time they get down there close, they go to that bulldozer package with Blake Bell, who scored both touchdowns tonight. Jones, after play action, going deep to the end zone. Dropped. Kenny Stills couldn't catch it. It looked like Micah Hyde actually jumped a bit too early. He was landing as the ball went off the shoulder of Kenny Stills.
They get in that stack, and all they're going to do is just, he got him, that's a nice route. He forced him wide. Looked like Hyde, like you said, he jumped early. It may have distracted him, but you got to come down with that thing.
No doubt. And that's been the case for Stills. He's a lot of talent, but he's been inconsistent. Pistol look now for Oklahoma. Landry Jones throws short to James Hanna. The second team all Big 12 tight end. A short gain to the 38. And here's Heather.
Guys, look for Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma offense to be much more creative in the second half. He said we got behind the chains way too often, took way too many sacks. We've got to find a way to trick Iowa's defense a little bit more. As for their quarterback, Landry Jones, who got a helmet-to-helmet hit, he has been cleared to play, doesn't have any concussion systems. What he does have, though, is a chipped tooth. Bob Stoops said he kind of likes it. I even saw his running backs doing some shadow boxing and calling him Rocky. Look for Jones to be pretty tough here in the second half.
Here comes the rush. Jones steps up on 3rd and 4, wide open. Roy Finch, nice move inside the 25 and pulled down by Jordan Bernstein and Sean Prater at the 20. 17-yard gain, first down, Oklahoma.
That's the second time that Roy Finch in this game has come clean underneath. And they're running zones, and he's coming, and in order to run that route underneath, it takes a little bit of time, and he had the time to be able to throw it. But Finch out of the backfield comes out and just runs opposite of where the play action is taking him.
Pistol again for Landry Jones with Roy Finch behind him. Finch and spun around. An Iowa player lost the helmet. It was Mike Daniels who was in on the stop.
And we've talked about Mike Daniels, and he had a whale of a first half, and he's doing it again. This time he's taking on the double team, and he gets held and still makes the tackle. Takes the double, splits it, gets held, spun, helmet comes off, makes the tackle, and he's ready for the second down. Oh, I like that kid.
With good reason. Had time to heal those sore ankles. He's been much more explosive tonight. Jones throws, caught, Stills. First down inside the 10, tackled by Sean Prater. First and goal. Oklahoma, 9-yard gain. Will leave Jones in at least for now. Perhaps a chance to throw a touchdown pass for the first time in 4 games.
I think the best chance for this Oklahoma offense is on the shoulders of Landry Jones.
Making his 37th career start at quarterback tonight, tying Cale Gundy for the most starts at quarterback in Oklahoma history. Pass deflected and intercepted. Huge play for the Iowa defense by Broderick Binns.
And Shawnee had a guy open in the back of the end zone. It was play action. The ball got tipped. I don't know who tipped it, but I know Binns came down with it. Binns may have been the guy who does both. There it is. Really well done. Binns gets his hands up. The ball is perfect because he has Stills right there. He's ready to go. Now, Prater could have undercut it, but he had his chance.
The last 4 games, no touchdowns, 6 interceptions for Landry Jones. They left him in there, perhaps in part to get him off the schneid. He still couldn't get it done, thanks to the great play by Binns. From the 4-yard line, Kanziri got leveled by Jamarcus McFarland. Tom Wart also in on the play.
And McGee.
When they've tried to get to the edge and run to the outside, Sean, this Oklahoma defense has really gotten good push up the field. When Iowa has had success is when they've gone directly at that Oklahoma defense, with that offensive line coming off the ball just directly right at them.
Well, the Iowa defense has played great tonight against the Oklahoma team, averaging 40 points per game, 10th in the nation. The offense has done very little. Vandenberg and a drop. And another mistake. Turnovers, penalties, and now a big drop by Keenan Davis, who's been drop prone. He had a critical drop in the 3rd overtime of their loss to Iowa State.
Yeah, that one, you're running that inside, that 8 route, and you know this is well done by Vandenberg because he knew he was going to get pressure. He saw it, they showed it. He took the snap, knew exactly where the hole was going to open. Ball was right there. That's completely on Davis.
No doubt. All you need to catch. Shotgun in the end zone for Vandenberg on 3rd down and 11. Rolls right and throws behind Steven Staggs. With Joseph Beloye in coverage. More of the same for the Iowa offense. Just can't make the kind of mistakes they're going to make tonight, particularly when you struggle to score as they do.
You know, Sean, one of the tapes that I watched of this Iowa offense was Nebraska, and in that game they could not get any kind of rhythm, and this is the same type of game. Now, part of it is the Oklahoma defense, as it was with Nebraska defense.
Eric Guthrie punting to the back of the end zone. Tress Way of Oklahoma got a 67-yarder off in the back of his end zone in the 1st half, and this is another bomb. Kenny Stills. Flags down. He's down at the 45 of Iowa. Christian Kirksey made the tackle. 55-yard punt for Guthrie. 13-yard return, but there are a couple of flags down.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both fouls on the return team during the run back. Illegal block in the back, number 52, that penalty is declined. Illegal block in the back, number 61, that penalty is accepted, will be enforced from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
Now, if I'm Ben Haber, number 61, I have a problem with that. Why are you taking my penalty and not the penalty against Kellen Jones? It's just not fair. Roderick Binns, a big play, but the offense didn't take advantage of it. Still 14-0 OU. One appealing matchup that is. Again, a power football team. Wisconsin against that high-flying Oregon attack of Chip Kelly. They'll spread you out all over the place and take advantage of the speed. Landry Jones, shotgun from the 36, 1st and 10. Trey Franks, and he's run down from behind by Anthony Hitchens. Nice play by the sophomore. They're playing without their leading tackler, James Morris, who looks like he's done for the night with an ankle injury. Missed time earlier in the year with an ankle problem, and he certainly doesn't look like he's coming back tonight. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one, Matt.
Yeah, doesn't look very good for Morris. Good football player, too, boy. Good young football player.
Jones throws, caught by Stills, 1st down. Tyler Nielsen, the senior linebacker out of Humboldt, Iowa, playing in his last game, made the tackle. The young man has fought off a lot of injuries, including a broken hand this year. left hand. He has 2 plates and 19 screws in that left hand.
Yeah, and they moved him to the inside, and he's comfortable in there, but he says he's more comfortable on the outside.
Hard to tackle with all that metal in your hand. Movement prior to the snap.
Illegal snap, offense number 61. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Ben Hayburn. He broke a hand earlier in the year. It's made it hard from the snap. He missed some time. Gabe Eichert moved over and played center, did a very nice job, and now he's moved back to guard. The coaches say Hayburn hasn't been quite as good a player since he came back from the injury. Brennan Clay running left, across midfield, tackled by Kirksey at the 47 of Iowa. 10-yard run. They need 5 more for a first down.
You know, we've talked about Iowa and them trying to find their running game, but when Dominic Whaley went out of this Oklahoma backfield, that was a significant kick in the shins for this offense because that's a very good player.
Belldozer type formation, but with Landry Jones still in there, throws a swing pass to Brennan Clay. Taken down by Nielsen, but it's a first down to the 39. There's Dominic Whaley, walk-on. Terrific story, transferred in out of a small college. He's having a terrific year when he suffered a broken leg trying to block on the first play from scrimmage at Kansas State. And he won't even be back in time for spring practice. He and Finch likely to battle it out to see who'll be the #1 back next year. They don't have many other options. They've had a lot of people leaving the program. Brandon Williams, a freshman, has announced his intention to transfer. There were 3 other running backs, or 2 others actually, Jonathan Miller and Jeremy Calhoun earlier in the year, so they were transferring out.
You know, I think part of that is Coach Stoops said, hey, if you don't like it here, then
hit
go,
the road,
get out, and I like that. He wants guys who wants to be there. Who want to be there. I want to be good Oklahoma Sooners, and they have to fit the program. And if they don't fit, you don't like it, then get your rear end out.
There were a lot of rumors going around leading up to this bowl game that Brennan Clay was going to transfer out too, and he flatly denied it. Millard running left, breaks tackles, and it looks like he stumbled forward for a first down after getting free from Jordan Bernstein.
Millard is
characteristic drive here, a little methodical.
Yeah, it is
for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and they're doing it in the running game. Then the short passes. The short passes are nothing more than long handoffs. But this Millard, we talked about him earlier, and they can put him at the tailback spot, what they're doing right now, or the fullback spot. He's just such a versatile player, and he's money every time you use him.
Clay went out to the right. Jones looked that way and then threw it over the head of Kenny Stills, sophomore from Encinitas, California, covered by Sean Prater.
And that's on Landry Jones because Stills had position inside, and he had the corner on his inside, his outside hip, and a better throw is 6 points right there. Had the protection.
Oh.
Second and 10 from the 29. 3 wide receivers on the field. Jones up and down the line of scrimmage with some instructions. Their all-time leading passer, over 12,000 career yards, adds to that total. Nice catch by Camille Jackson. Landry Jones said he was very impressed by Camille Jackson in all those bowl practices, and he's had a nice night. 3 catches tonight, this one for 22.
Oh, that's a heck of a throw. You know, Micah Hyde, the corner, they were playing kind of that 2 with that safety on top.
They come up to the line quickly. Clay, looked like he had the face mask of Micah Hyde as he delivered the stiff arm and went out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
He got him right by the face mask. You're right. Micah Hyde not too thrilled with that, so he wanted to go tell him about it. But you got to like that as a runner.
Jones in there, throws, and there's the elusive touchdown pass. First in 4 games for Jones, and it goes to Trent Rattery, the backup tight end. Landry Jones throws the touchdown pass. One play after what could have been a penalty on the offense for play grasping the face mask of Micah Hyde. Jay Norvell there, the co-offensive coordinator, another Iowa grad coaching against his alma mater. He was a fine defensive back at Iowa in the mid-'80s. Michael Honeycutt the extra point midway through the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma leads Iowa 21-0.
ESPN College Football, the Insight Bowl, is brought to you by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
Yesterday, 6 teams of 5th to 8th graders from local schools here in the Valley of the Sun presented their plans for an international lunar base with judges panel of Honeywell engineers and NASA astronauts. A team of 7th grade students from Simon & Jude School in Phoenix won the contest for their presentation of the Moon Landers.
I thought I saw a little bit of Star Wars stuff in there.
You might have. A bunch of smart kids, as we say in the Congo.
Yes.
Good for them. Nice annual tradition here at the Insight Bowl. 21-0 Oklahoma after a 10-play 64-yard touchdown drive on which Landry Jones went 4 for 5 and threw the touchdown pass. 1 touchdown in each quarter for OU. Patrick O'Hara kicks it away. Jordan Bernstein to the 25. Tackled by Sam Proctor. Time to look at tonight's H&R block. Never settle play. And it's Landry Jones who got rocked on this play by Jordan Bernstein, penalized for the helmet-to-helmet hit. And as Heather Cox told us at the half, Landry Jones wound up with a chipped tooth in that play. But he bounced back.
Came right back. I think he might be proud of that chip chomper.
He was happy to show it off. His teammates on the sideline. James Vandenberg gave it off to Jordan Kanziri. And a quality gain on first down. 7 out to the 32-yard line. Tackle there by David King. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Earlier this year, Iowa rallied from 21 down, 24-3 against Pittsburgh in Iowa City on September 17th. Late in the 3rd quarter, they were down 21. It was the biggest comeback in Hawkeye history. They won 31-27. In that game, they picked up the tempo, went no huddle. I wonder if they're tempted to do that here. Rousing win over Todd Graham's Pitt Panthers. I think it was Todd Graham. Was Todd Graham there long enough to coach the Pitt Panthers in that game?
He's out here right now at ASU.
Yeah, good for them. Of all the hires in this offseason, that's the one I least understand. There's a guy who everywhere he goes says, this is my dream job. I'm going to stay here the rest of my life and do a great job. And twice he's been one and done at Rice and Pitt. James Vandenberg carries. They convert.
You know, Sean, getting back to the hurry-up stuff and the pace, and I think one of the things they try to do with Vandenberg is to try to get him into a flow, and that's something that he's not been able to do in this game. And part of that flow with him is Marvin McNutt, and it's been a slow night for McNutt.
In his last game at Iowa, trying to set the single-season reception record and the career reception mark. It's not looking like he's going to do it tonight unless he gets much more involved. Nice tackle by Ibaloye on Jordan Kanziri in the flat, just a 1-yard gain, and a frustrating night for Marvin McNutt.
Well, they've tried to go to him outside. He's been covered by Fleming for the most part.
And
Fleming, and then, yeah. And then when, you know, down in the goal line, the frustrations came out when nobody even lined up on him. thrown to him. You can see 9, 1 reception for 10 yards. Hasn't been a big night for him tonight.
One of the balls they threw to him was intercepted by Jamel Fleming that set up the first score. Another short completion. This one to C.J. Fedorowicz. Tackled by Fleming and Travis Lewis. Gain to the 41-yard line, 3rd down and about 5.5.
You know, you've mentioned a couple names here tonight in Demontre Hurst in the one corner and Jamel Fleming. I think both those guys have played pretty darn well here tonight. Fleming, for the most part, has been over McNutt, and he's kept them quiet. Hurst on the other side, 2 good corners here.
4-man rush. Vandenberg with time, and there's McNutt into Oklahoma territory to the 43-yard line. 16-yard gain by McNutt, his 2nd catch of the night. The senior from St. Louis who came to Iowa as a quarterback.
Yeah,
he said to Fleming, if you're going to hold me, I'm going to shove you.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's how you have to play. And every, you know, you're going to be physical with a guy. You got to be physical back. Looks like he got hurt at the end of that thing.
He's off to the sideline,
holding his right shoulder or something.
He wasn't excited when he was turned into a wide receiver at Iowa at first. Grew to enjoy the position over time. Brad Rogers the ball carry, and Fleming another tackle. He already has the single season record this year with nearly 1,300 yards, and he has the career reception yardage mark as well. Set the touchdown record this season and the career mark, but he doesn't have the single season reception mark. He's 2 away from Kevin Casper's 82, and he does not have the career reception mark. 5 away now from Darrell Johnson-Koulianos. Pretty good players, Casper and Johnson-Koulianos. Vandenberg throws, and a nice catch made. Ruled a grab by Stephen Staggs, junior from Oskaloosa, Iowa. Walk on, just his 5th catch of the year.
Ooh. That's a close one. He caught the ball. I don't know. They better snap it, because I would challenge that one, whether he was out of bounds on that, Sean, or not, when he had control.
The ruling on the field is a completed pass. The ruling on the field is under review.
And the line judge Darrell Johnson had excellent position there, but it'll go up to the booth. Dan Hill will tell you what he decided when we come back. While we were away, the referee Jack Wood announced the previous play stands as called, a catch by Staggs for Iowa. Wasn't enough video evidence to overturn the call. Vandenberg starting to heat up now, 4 for 4 on this drive for Kirk Ferentz.
Marvin McNutt is still moving that left shoulder like it's bothering him.
Nearing 3.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Vandenberg under duress had to throw it away, and a late flag thrown in the secondary.
Holding, defense, number 28. Foul was against an eligible receiver. 10 yards from the previous spot and an automatic 1st down.
So Travis Lewis on Fedorowicz right there, and that, yeah, I would say that's a hold.
Great look at it. Our outstanding crew, led by our producer Bo Garrett, our director Mike Roig. Outstanding group of technicians and production folks, and we've been privileged to work all season long. Panzeri out to the 21-yard line. Gain of 3. Here's Heather Cox.
Sean, Marvin McKnight's tough night's been compounded by injuries. The first play of the game, he came off holding his wrist, now bothered by that shoulder injury. You guys have been talking about. The medical staff tested his strength and cleared him to return, but he's still been shaking it. During the break, he tried to raise it above his head. He hasn't yet been able to do that, and you'll notice they haven't gone to him since he injured that shoulder.
Seems frustrated. You have to think those records might be in his mind. We asked about it yesterday, and like all players, you ask about stuff like that, he just kind of shrugged it off. I actually had a funny answer. He said, I thought I had all the records already. But he didn't deliver that in as immodest a way as it sounds. Jordan Canzeri, a good run down to the 15-yard line. He's up to 59 yards rushing, but it's taken 19 carries to do it. 3rd down and 1. Big 3rd down here for Iowa. 2.5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. They need to put it in the end zone.
You know, Sean, remember at the beginning of the game in the 1st quarter when they went for it down inside, and you asked me about that. And that's one of the reasons why I think you had to put points on the board right there instead of going for it.
Deep handoff. You just think that play call stinks. It
good.
just stinks against this defense with all that speed.
And they've not had success getting to the edge. When they had tried to run laterally, Oklahoma's done a nice job of getting vertically up the field and getting pressure. When they've had the most success when they've gone directly right at them. And now you'd set up with this 4th and 3 or 4.
And a much tougher 4th down. That play's way too slow against a defense like that. They got stopped on 4th down inside the 10-yard line early in the game when they were down 7-0. Minute and a half to go, 4th and 4. 3 wide receivers to the left. Here comes an Oklahoma blitz, and the catch is made for a 1st down. C.J. Fedorowicz to the 11-yard line. Dragged Aaron Colvin along for an extra yard or 2.
Well, Fedorowicz makes the catch, but the play's made by Vandenberg because he's got somebody right in his face. He has to read that hot right away, and he does. The ball comes out, and it's right on the money. Well done by Vandenberg.
5 for 5 on this drive to get him above 50% for the game now. 14 for 27 for 122 yards. 1 minute to go, 3rd quarter. 6.5 minute drive. Still ongoing for the Hawkeyes. Canzeri. That's what you're talking about, Matt. They've had much better success with those quick hitting runs.
Yeah, they have.
Than those slow looping runs to the corner.
And what Canzeri does in that read, it's inside, and you're looking. You're not necessarily following your running your lineman. What you're doing is you're watching the linebackers. If they flow fast, you cut behind it, and that's what he's had success with here. And that's really to his strength. He has a little bit of inside quickness.
They're marching, but they've used a lot of time. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Vandenberg throws to the goal line, caught by McNutt short of the goal line, but he does have a 1st down. Demontre Hurst pushed him out of bounds. 1st and goal, Iowa from inside the 1.
Now he put a little mustard on this one. McNutt comes down with the catch. That's, I don't know. He didn't. The ball never broke the plane.
Nope, and he did have possession. 3 catches for McNutt, 1 away from tying the single-season Iowa record of 82 held by Kevin Casper. The end of the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma leading 21-0, but Iowa is at the goal line.
Today is the day. It's the day that I have always dreamed of.
Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow. Just another big day of college football on ESPN and ABC starting at noon Eastern on ESPN. A&M and Northwestern in the Meineke Car-Care Bowl of Texas. 3:30 Eastern ABC. Cincy and Vanderbilt. Commodores just their 2nd bowl in the last 29 years in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. On ESPN it's Illinois and UCLA Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. And finally at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN the Chick-fil-A Bowl, Virginia and Auburn. Auburn trying to avoid being the first defending national champ with 6 or more losses since Ohio State. There's Vandenberg on 1st and goal with flags down. Did not get in. That was back in 1943, by the way, the last defending national champ that lost 6 games. James Ferentz, the center, lost his helmet.
Snap, false start, left guard, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Well, that's the killer. You're 1 foot from a touchdown. Now you're 5.5 yards. Matt Tobin, junior left guard, walk on. out of Worthington, Iowa, guilty of the infraction. First penalty of the half against the Hawkeyes. They had a few that hurt them in the first half. Fourth quarter just getting started. Oklahoma leading 21-0. Vandenberg out of the gun. Blitzed off the corner and threw it to the fence, which is not an eligible receiver.
Yeah, but a smart play, because it was well covered. He had pressure off his left side. Villiers came clean, and he was going to try to go to Manley inside, but coverage was too good, so he just lost it.
Second and goal. The kicker's warming up, but they need a touchdown. Field goal at this juncture is going to do them very little. He's warming up. They hope for an extra point. Vandenberg retreating. Throws back into the crowd and got away with it. Touchdown, Fedorowicz.
You said it right, Sean. He got away with it. And that's one of those throws. A lot of times this thing gets picked when you throw back. Starts off to his left, and coverage was there. Took it away. He redirects and come back to the other side, and Fedorowicz sits down. Gets the catch.
Third touchdown catch of the year for Fedorowicz. First touchdown of the night for Vandenberg. His 24th touchdown pass of the year. If it stands, they're going to review it. That's a catch.
Yeah, not even close. You know, we said
a very short review for Dan Hill, because you don't need much more than that.
We said about Vandenberg, and again, he's a flow guy, right? He's into the flow right now. And Sean, in the end of that third quarter, into that throw, he's been dead on, and it's changed their offense completely.
Really a microcosm of his season and theirs as a team. Very inconsistent. Flashes of really good things. Other times where they haven't played well. And when he hasn't played well, drive took nearly 8 minutes. 7 minutes, 56 seconds.
The ruling is confirmed. Touchdown.
16 plays to go 75 yards, 6 yards the touchdown pass. Vandenberg to Fedorowicz. Vandenberg 7 of 8 on the drive. So it's a game with nearly the full fourth quarter to go. Mike Meyer, the extra point. 21-7 as we get a Sports Center right now from Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, and we'll start in the NFL, where Tom Brady is listed as probable for the Patriots game against the Bills on Sunday. Brady's still nursing that ailing left shoulder, which apparently did limit him somewhat during practice today, but he did practice. Dustin Garrison of West Virginia suffered a torn ACL and MCL during practice for the Mountaineers today and will miss the Discover Orange Bowl against Clemson. You can see the game on ESPN. Sports Center's coming after the game.
Tom Brady will play. I'm sure Giselle right now probably got the ice bag on his left shoulder there, or the heat pad, whatever is the right thing to do. She's probably whipped up a little chicken soup for him tonight, and Brady will be ready to go.
He'll be ready to play. He's a competitor. Always has been. He's going to answer the bell. And he'll probably break Dan Marino's record. And you know what? He could actually win the whole thing. He could win that whole passing title. It's conceivable that that could happen this weekend.
Mike Myers kickoff down to the 6-yard line to the very speedy Trey Franks, who got stood up at the 27 and driven back.
Sean, we talked about James Vandenberg and how he got into a flow, and probably the biggest part of that flow was on that fourth down. It was a key, and he recognized that he was going to get pressure, and he had to get the hot read right away, and he's able to see it and get the ball out to Fedorowicz right away. And what that did is it led to this big throw again for 6 points.
He was very well coached by Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, who, like Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, has been with Kirk Ferentz for all 13 years of his tenure as Iowa head coach. Jones out of the pistol, sent Clay out wide to the left. He made the catch. And gets driven back by Kirksey and Nielsen with help from Hyde. Gain to the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
That Kirksey, number 20, that's going to be a good football player as well. You have Morris. He'll be back, just a sophomore. This Kirksey kid, though, he can run. He has some good speed. He's going to have to get a little bit bigger, but Christian Kirksey has good instincts. Good player.
Just a sophomore as well, out of Hazelwood East High School, the St. Louis area. He was coached by Mike Jones, the former St. Louis Ram, who made that famous tackle in the Super Bowl to save their victory over the Tennessee Titans. That's a good guy to have coaching. Anthony Hitchens made the tackle on Brennan Clay, a little bit short of the 1st down. Here's a big 3rd down now for Oklahoma, with Iowa within 2 scores, and they go back to Blake Bell on 3rd down and 2.
It has brought this Iowa crowd to their feet. They sense it.
There's 3 out of 7 tonight on 3rd down for Oklahoma. And a mediocre 3rd down team all year. They hand it off, and they're not going to convert. Franks drop for a loss. Kirksey again with help from Tyler Nielsen.
Big play, because Kirksey not only made the tackle, he took on the block first, worked off the block, and then made the play. Frank's got the speed. They tried to cut him right there. Look at that. That's really well done. Really well done, Kirksey.
Big play from Norm Parker's defense. He has to be proud of the effort he's getting from this defense in his last game as a college coach. There's Tress Way. Wow. Another bomb. He already had a 67-yarder to tie the Insight Bowl record. Here's Micah Hyde. And it's Way making the tackle. Well, tonight he's had a couple of very long punts and now a tackle. 59-yard punt, 17-yard return. The ball and momentum on the side of Iowa. Capital One Bowl week concludes Monday. 4 more games starting at noon Eastern. ESPNU, Houston and Penn State, the Ticket City Bowl. Then at 1, ABC has Michigan State and Georgia in the Outback. ESPN with Nebraska and South Carolina in the Capital One Bowl. And in ESPN2, Ohio State faces Florida in the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl. Penn State will be playing its first bowl game without Joe Paterno on the staff since the Cotton Bowl of 1948. 54,000 plus here tonight. Insight Bowl record. 23rd year for this game. Started down in Tucson as the Copper Bowl, then moved here. Now the Insight Bowl. Vandenberg's pass caught by Jordan Canzeri out of bounds with a 2-yard gain. Big possession for the Hawkeyes. Scored in the last drive. And a chance to really make it interesting if they could drive and score again, down by 14 with 12 and a half to go.
Brent Venables, defensive coordinator for this Oklahoma Sooner team. He's being aggressive. Came right after Vandenberg again with some pressure. He's been bringing pressures all night long. Vandenberg, though, since that middle of the 3rd quarter, he's been on his game.
4-man rush. He throws into traffic, and Davis again can't hang on. He got hit. Wart was nearest. Evie Loyer there too.
That's a small window, and it's right in his hands.
Yeah, he needs to catch the ball.
That's the 2nd time tonight that ball's been dropped. Ward now made sure that he was going to drop that thing too.
3rd down and 8. Another 4-man rush. Vandenberg pulls it down and goes nowhere. Wrapped up by R.J. Washington.
Working again against Riley Reef, that left tackle. And this one, remember the first one we showed you, Vandenberg actually kind of faded a little bit to his left. This time that one's on Vandenberg again, trying to get out of that thing. You got to know where your pocket is to have pocket presence.
2nd sack of the night for R.J. Washington, who's playing for Ronell Lewis. Not here tonight. Suspended for academic reasons. Eric Guthrie punts.
Shankadelic.
And Stills fielded on a couple of bounces. 2-yard return to the 40-yard line. 39-yard punt. 11:25 to go in Tempe, Arizona.
ESPN College Football, the Insight Bowl, is brought to you by Insight, a proven provider of game-changing technology solutions for your business. The GMC Sierra. Now during the GMC holiday event, trade up to the best Sierra ever and get some of the best offers of the year. And the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Time for a look at our game summary, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott. Oklahoma leading 21-7, despite the fact they have just 198 yards of offense. Iowa's had to punt 6 times in 10 possessions. Well-played game by both defenses. 200 yards of offense for Iowa, 198 for Oklahoma. With a lead for Landry Jones. He wants to go deep. Checks it down to Stills. Is it a catch? No, couldn't hang on. With Sean Prater right behind him.
Prater had good coverage, had a chance to make that catch. Stills just didn't come down with it. He didn't control it all the way through. Right there, Prater stayed with it all the way. But that's, again, Stills is a good enough player. He's got to make that catch.
He's had a chance tonight to make a couple big plays. So talented, 61 catches last year. Freshman All-American. Trey Miller just across the 40. He 3rd down and 6 upcoming after we check in with Heather Cox.
Well, Sean, another injury to an already depleted receiving group. It now appears that Trey Frank's night is finished. Oklahoma doesn't give out injury information, but I can tell you that after getting hit across the middle on the last possession, he came off the field straight to the bench. The medical staff retaped both ankles, but spent a lot more time looking at his head and talking to him. He since then has put a towel over his head, looks very emotional. All of his teammates coming and slapping him on the back. He appears to be finished for the night, guys.
And Kenny Stills just limped off too. 3rd down and 6. Jones throws far side, dropped by Trent Rattery. I don't know if he would have had the 1st down anyway. He was going to have to do some running after the catch. But they're dropping like flies in that receiving core. Stills limped off. Franks is out. They actually have been using James Winchester, the long snapper, as a wide receiver in practice. He's been a scout team wide receiver for a long time, but there was some thought that he might actually play tonight. He hasn't had a catch. Tress-Way. A fair catch made by Micah Hyde. The only previous meeting between these two teams, September 15th, 1979. Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner, 106 yards and a touchdown. Iowa's defense forced 3 fumbles to keep it close. Sooners finally wore them down, won 21-6 on their way to an 11-1 season, a win over Florida State in the Orange Bowl for Barry Switzer. That was Hayden Fry's 2nd game as head coach. They hadn't had a winning season since 1961 when he took over. And he was mad after that game because they were getting complimented for giving the Sooners a good game, keeping it close. Right. And Hayden Fry said, that's part of the problem right here. When you're getting congratulated for losing in close fashion, there's a problem. And there's a great picture from that game. That's Bob Stoops, better known as Bobby Stoops back in those days, flying through the air, trying to tackle Billy Sims. Jason White on 2nd and 5, 1st down, it appears, across the 31-yard line, tackled by DeMondre Hurst and Ibiloye. Bob Stoops was a very good player at Iowa. Hayden Fry talked about he set the tone with his intensity on the practice field. All Big Ten defensive back 2 times, and the MVP of the Iowa team in 1982.
And he brought that same kind of intensity to this football team. And that's you know, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier about, you know, guys, some of the guys leaving and not wanting to be there. And Bob Stoops' attitude, I love that attitude. And it's the way it should be for a football team. You don't want to be here, leave. Just move on.
And you can do that at Oklahoma because of the way they recruit. They are like a lot of the best programs in the country. They almost select more than recruit.
And some of the kids that are leaving are good. They're good football players. But if you're not,
go get some more
good
ones.
And if you're not the right fit, then then it's time to move on.
We mentioned he interviewed for the Iowa job at his alma mater. Same time Kirk Ferentz did. Vandenberg throws, caught. McNutt out of bounds. And it's a first down. 13-yard gain. 4th catch of the night for McNutt. He's now tied the single-season Iowa record. 82 catches, tied with Kevin Casper for most catches in a season at Iowa.
Yeah, well protected and a nice route versus the zone there with Hurst just underneath. You get DeMontre Hurst running up the field, they just come back outside.
One more, he'll have that record all by himself. A blitz from Oklahoma on 1st and 10. A lot of running room for Keenan Davis. And a nice move to get inside the 40. Tripped up by DeMontre Hurst. 37-yard line is where they'll mark it. 18 yards, and the Hawkeyes are on the move, trying to make it a one-score game.
And going to the hurry up. And I like that.
This worked well for them in that rousing comeback against Pittsburgh. Oklahoma rushed 4, and the throw's on target. Sliding catch. Cavante Martin-Manley, freshman, with a sliding grab for 21 yards.
And here comes Vandenberg. He's awake here in this from the middle of the 3rd quarter on. He's been dead on. He's had a couple of drops, but man, he's seeing the field right now, and the ball's coming out nice.
Iowa trying to make a game of it from the 16. Pump fake and a wobbly pass thrown up for grabs, and is it intercepted? No. Ruled incomplete. Broken up by Jamel Fleming. Jefferson dove. He thought he caught it. Keenan Davis, the intended receiver. And Jefferson's telling the sideline he caught it.
Ooh, it's all the way underneath in his stomach. Let's see if he...
No, that's not a catch.
That's a good call.
That's a good call.
Nice job by the officials.
They're going to stop it. The crowd, the Oklahoma fans, anxious for a replay, but they didn't see on the big screen here in the stadium the most recent replay that you just saw at home. I wonder if Bob Stoops called this to request the review. Challenge it.
Ruling on the previous play was incomplete. The ruling is under review.
Well, they're going to see what we just saw, and good, nicely officiated.
Yeah, it's been a wonderfully officiated game by Jack Wood and his crew, and a good job up in the replay booth as well. Works around and then he repossesses. After the replay review, the call on the field was confirmed. Incomplete pass and not a diving interception for Tony Jefferson. So it's still Iowa ball at the 16-yard line, 2nd and 10, trailing 21-7, but they were down 21-0 on the last drive. Vandenberg went 7 for 8, leading to a touchdown. He's 4 for 5 on this drive. Oklahoma's not being charged with a timeout. Jack Wood saying it was initiated from the replay booth, therefore no challenge and no timeout charge to Oklahoma.
You know, Sean, last time they were down in this situation, Oklahoma came with some pressure. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, dialed up a couple blitzes and trusted his corners outside to coverage. Let's see if they don't do that again.
Vandenberg in the gun. Cavante Martin-Manley, the motion man. 4-man rush. Vandenberg throws short and well covered again, and that's been a recurring theme. Fleming all over Marvin McNutt. 3rd down and 10.
Trying to get him across on that underneath route. And Fleming has been all over McNutt. Fleming's played a very good game here tonight. He's tackled when he's had to tackle out in the open field. He's covered down the field, broken balls up. Big down right here on 3rd down, O'Shawn.
Wonder if it's 4-down territory with 8.5 minutes to go and down by 14. Field goal isn't a huge help. Blitz. Vandenberg throws short. Davis lost the football. It's ruled incomplete.
That's the 3rd or 4th drop he's had tonight.
A rough night, and it's been a part of his season.
The other
Fleming broke it up.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. Fleming reads this really well. But that's
very close to being a catch and then a fumble.
Yeah, they're going to have to go for it here.
Yep, 8.5 minutes to go. Fleming, who was the MVP defensively of the Fiesta Bowl win across the Valley of the Sun against UConn last year. Really the best defensive player for Oklahoma again tonight. This might be the game right here. 4th and 10 with 8.5 to go, down by 14. Vandenberg throws. Davis held on, has a first down, and he lost the ball as he lunged for the end zone. And Iowa got it back according to the first indication from the official. And then Fleming gets up wanting a piece of one of the Hawkeyes. It is Iowa ball. Boy, Keenan Davis, even when he makes a good play, he almost turns it into a bad one.
Well, Keenan Davis comes back underneath there, just playing his zone. And he just does a fantastic job. Great effort. And that ball did come out, like you said, Sean.
And he got it back.
He got it back.
Was a fumble, though. He was in the air and the ball came out. 14-yard gain. Huge 4th down conversion. 1st and goal from the 2.
Tried to go with a hurry up here.
Delay of game. Offense, number 16.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They've made it very hard on themselves tonight. Trying to get back in the game. Despite continuing issue with drop passes and penalties. Remember when they had 1st and goal at the 1. They got a false start penalty that put them back outside the 5-yard line. Now at the 7. Jordan Canzeri stopped for a loss of 2. Jamarcus McFarland, the defensive tackle, junior from Lufkin, Texas, with a nice play.
McFarland been controlling the inside there pretty well. Every time they've tried to get that outside, they've been getting big push up inside. McFarland has generally been that guy.
In the huddle a long time.
See if they don't bring pressure here on 2nd.
Vandenberg under center. 2nd and goal from the 9. He throws it away. Does it seem to you that he has a clock in his head, and if there's a certain point he's going to throw it away even if it looks like he has more time?
Yeah, I can't really tell because where he was trying to go right there, Sean, there was no way he was fitting that in. Davis was he was covered all over the place, and to the left side there was coverage, so he just kind of got rid of it.
Well, for all the mistakes they've made, they've also a few times tonight come up with some key plays when they've really needed it, like the 4th down conversion a moment ago. Here's a 3rd and goal, 12th play of the drive. 4-man rush, screen, good call. Canzeri walks in. Touchdown. What a play call by Ken O'Keefe, and beautifully executed by the Hawkeyes.
Great call. You are dead on. That is a fantastic call. He just uses the aggressiveness of Oklahoma's defense against him. Watch Canzeri down here. So what you're going to do, screens are all about timing and feel. And the timing was perfect, and the feel was even better.
First career touchdown for the true freshman from Troy, New York, Jordan Canzeri. Mike Meyer makes it a 7-point game.
What a difference by James Vandenberg here in the 2nd half, John. It's like night and day.
There's 9 for 20 passing at the half. Now 23 out of 42. Well, a couple of drops, he'd be better than that.
Exactly right. And when he's on, he's dead on. And he has, not only with the accuracy, Sean, but his awareness as well. Remember, we had the 4th down, and he was able to, see that the pressure was coming and knew where he had to go with the ball. And then down here in the stretch of the 4th quarter, he's been money. And he's been aided by some excellent play calls. And like you said, there's about 4 drops in there that would make these numbers look even better.
Tonight's quarterback spotlight brought to you by Dove Men Plus Care. And tale of two halves for Vandenberg. We mentioned earlier in the year they rallied from 21 down to beat Pittsburgh. Now this is a much better opponent they're playing tonight. And in that game, Vandenberg wound up throwing for 399 yards and 3 touchdown passes in the final 17 minutes of that historic come from behind win. This one would be much more improbable if they could finish the job. There are some of the details from their win against Pitt back in mid-September in Iowa City. Iowa's won a bowl game after each of the last 3 seasons. Trying to extend that to 4 years in a row. Florida, Florida State, South Florida, the only other teams that have won a bowl game each of the previous 3 years. South Florida didn't make a bowl this year. Brennan Clay. Wow. He had just the kicker to get around, and then they would have had to race to get him to the turf, but he stumbled as he went to make one last move. 35-yard return by Brennan Clay.
Looks like the 35-yard line was the tackler, because he had room. It was well blocked. There's Millard right there, and he kind of faked himself out.
Well, regardless of the outcome, this has been a defensive performance by the Hawkeyes that Norm Parker can be very proud of in his final game of a tremendous career as an assistant coach in college football. Stills the catch, delivers a stiff arm. It gets yanked down by Prater, but it's a first down just shy of the 49-yard line. Landry Jones out throwing for an 11-yard gain.
So if I'm Oklahoma right now, I said it in the first half. I'm going to say it again. I put the ball in Landry Jones' hands and let him go ahead and preserve this win for you.
And they're not sitting on the lead here. They know they're in the ball game now. They're trying to build on the lead with 6.5 minutes to go. Brennan Clay running left. Run down by Tyler Nielsen, but another quality game, about 8.5. With a sophomore from San Diego. He, Stills, and Tony Jefferson all came together from the San Diego area to Norman, Oklahoma.
You know, Sean, I think this Oklahoma offense is at its best when they're attacking. And I think when they're trying to push the ball down the field, that's when they play their best football.
There's 221 yards of offense for Oklahoma tonight, more than 300 yards under their season average. And there's Clay, stood up. And we talk about Norm Parker. I thought one of the best defensive coaching jobs I've ever seen, Matt, was a game you and I did together, the Orange Bowl.
Yes.
When they played Georgia Tech a couple of years ago. They were the underdog in that game, and he had them totally ready to shut down that Georgia Tech option offense.
That triple option, they took it away. Big play right here.
And Blake Bell is in for Oklahoma at quarterback on 3rd down and 2. Just 3 out of 9 tonight. Only 42% for the year, 51st in the country. Bell has it and more. Big play by the freshman quarterback down to the 36-yard line with 5 minutes to go.
Just power. It's just a power. That's all it is. Back inside, and keep in mind, it's when you have that quarterback and he's your runner, you gain an extra blocker in numbers because you have to account for the runner, and this time it's the quarterback. Normally you don't account for the quarterback.
He's built like a defensive end. His dad, Mark Bell, played 6 years in the NFL as a defensive end for the Seahawks and Colts. Millard leaps over a tackler and is very close to another first down. It looks like he has it. Tanner Miller finally got him down. The fullback Millard showing his great athleticism.
Now, we've talked about him a bunch. Yeah, this guy's the real deal. I think if you made him a feature back, he'd put up some numbers for you. I think he's got it all. Mark Bell was a heck of a football player, incidentally.
Yeah, Blake's dad.
And Mark's twin was also.
Yeah, Uncle Mike, Blake's uncle.
He was a heck of a football player at Colorado State, and then with the
12
Chiefs.
years in the NFL himself with the Chiefs.
Both those guys were good players. I didn't know that was his dad.
Timeout call. A little confusion there for Oklahoma with 4 minutes to go. And they are in field goal range, and any points here now would be huge for the Sooners. Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow. Full day of college football on ESPN and ABC at noon Eastern. ESPN, Texas A&M and Northwestern, Meineke Car Care Bowl of Texas, 3:30 Eastern on ABC, Cincinnati and Vanderbilt. And ESPN, Illinois and UCLA in the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl, and then at 7:30 on ESPN, Virginia and Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. What a year Illinois had. Only team in the history of major college football to lose 6 straight games in a season and still play in a bowl. 1st and 10 Oklahoma. They've had the ball on this drive for 3 minutes, down to 4 minutes to go in regulation time. Brennan Clay gets them 2 more, perhaps 2.5. Sean Prater made the tackle. Oklahoma in field goal range, trying to get it back to a 2-score game. They led 21-0, but Bob Stoops' alma mater has come back.
Now they bring in the Belldozers, so if you're Iowa, you're going to tighten up. You're going to put as many people in the box, drop those safeties down, and force Bell to have to make a throw.
He's only thrown 4 times this year. He runs and gets scuffed after a 1-yard gain. Thomas Nardo, senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, walked on for 4 years. He paid his own way, out-of-state tuition, about $20,000 to $24,000 a year.
Good tough kid too. Good tough kid, and he battled injuries all. This whole defensive line has. But good disciplined player inside. Formed a nice tandem inside with Mike Daniels, and both of them healthy here tonight. Daniels played a heck of a game, and Nardo, of course, the big tackle right there.
Landry Jones back in, 3rd down and 6. Iowa hoping for a stop and to force a field goal try. Jones, nice step up into the pocket. Now he runs and doesn't get the first down. Got about 3 to make it a shorter field goal from here to be about a 35-yarder for Honeycutt. And Iowa uses a timeout. It's first with 2:33 to go. They have 2 left. And a big field goal try upcoming here for Michael Honeycutt, who's 20 out of 23 for the year. He's had an outstanding year, but this is a big spot because this is probably going to put the game in the win column for Oklahoma if he makes it.
Yeah, 2-score game. Is that right? Yeah, 2-score game.
Yeah.
And but I think what we'll watch here tonight, pretty calculated, but when Oklahoma has had to answer, particularly on this drive, they've done exactly what they've had to do, controlled the football. Really, it's been their offensive line who've opened up some holes here for this running game.
Been a disappointing year for the former #1 team in the country, but a win would be their 10th of the season. They'd likely finish in the top 15 in the rankings. Honeycutt up and good. 35-yarder to put them up by 10 with 2:28 to go. Honeycutt has already set the Oklahoma record for field goals by a freshman, now with 21, adding to his own record. And across the valley, the game that Oklahoma was in last year, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, this year features their arch rival Oklahoma State and Stanford. 3 versus 4. Some of the best offensive weapons in the country in that game. Andrew Luck of Stanford, Justin Blackman, Brandon Whedon of Oklahoma State, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN3, also streaming live on WatchESPN.com. Monday at 8:30 Eastern. We are fired up to be over in Glendale for that one. What do you think?
I'm really looking forward to it. I think you have the great quarterback play. That's going to be there. I think you have defenses that take chances. Well, Bill Young, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, is not afraid to dial up blitzes. He brings pressure. You got star players on both sides. You have big play capabilities. And locked in all that, Sean, is that Stanford team is an interesting team because although they can throw it and they play good, solid defense, they really want to run the football.
Oh, they say that. They're a run-first team,
exactly.
And then the play-action passes of Luck set up off of that power running game. Patrick O'Hara's kickoff down to Jordan Bernstein. And he's tackled by James Hanna after Trey Millard slowed him down. A couple of very important players for Oklahoma running down to cover that very important kickoff. Well, last year, Oklahoma came to the Valley, played in the BCS game in Glendale, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and beat UConn. They're about to go home with another trophy unless this one turns around in a hurry. Delay a game on ESPN. We have had a little crash of our sky cam onto the field.
And that is held up by cables.
Well, it was. It is no longer.
Exactly.
And that's not a cheap piece of equipment.
No. That is the first for me ever.
I've never remember seeing this happen, and thank goodness, because it could have landed on somebody.
I think it may have hit McNutt there.
Yeah, it got him on the bounce, though. I mean, come on. Who hasn't? The wire got tangled up.
He was wired on that same shoulder.
We can laugh about it now, but that's got to be a little scary.
Yeah.
Monte Martin-Maley getting out of the way as well. And here comes the cable.
Heck, you look up, you might think it's a Soviet satellite falling out of the sky or something.
Kind of a pathetic end for that sky cam, isn't it? Now being dragged off the field. He's at the 42. Not great speed. Across the 45 and heading for the sideline. Maybe to stop the clock.
Yeah, but this wire right here is still going that way.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much, the wire goes down. Look out. Now they're afraid on the Iowa. So Phil Parker over there. I'm getting away from this. Actually, he's trying to help. The technician has been happier.
Yeah, this guy right here, not a happy guy.
Well, when the night began, he wasn't really thinking that the sky cam was going to fall on the field.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, Marvin's all right. I mean, it was already kind of a frustrating night for him as it is. Now, the outcome may no longer be in doubt unless Iowa can really pull off something miraculous. But they might want to get McNutt one more catch or two more catches, because he needs one more to have the single season reception mark at Iowa all by himself. And needs two more to break Darrell Johnson-Koulianos' career mark. McNutt has 172 career catches. And the record is 173.
Well, with 2 timeouts and 2:22 to go, there's more than enough time. You got a lot of ground to cover here, 80 yards, but McNutt can make some big plays here. Now,
if he doesn't get the pass broken up by our camera or the wire.
Well, that's gone, but Jamel Fleming is still there.
Yes.
And he has been the main perpetrator with McNutt all night long.
Just when it looked like they were about ready to get going again, the officials have stopped the play. Here's Jack Wood.
There is still a wire from the overhead camera in the far end zone. We're going to suspend play until they can get that wire off of the field and it's safe to continue.
Yep. Sorry, folks. We didn't want it to happen. We'll take a break and come back right after this. Back in Tempe, Arizona, the first ever Skycam delay at the Insight Bowl gives us time to tell you about tonight's Capital One player of the game, Jamel Fleming. 7 tackles tonight, 5 of them solos. Of course, he had the big interception that set up the first score of the game. And 3 pass breakups.
Well, it started early, and he continued all night long. And most of the night, he's been on Marvin McNutt. And McNutt, of course, is the main cog in this passing game. Jamel Fleming, he's been the equal, if not better. He's made big play after big play all night long. He's been Johnny on the spot, tackling when you have to tackle, knocking balls down, been all over the field. Well played tonight by Fleming.
I mentioned earlier, the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl last year. He loves playing in bowl games here in the Phoenix area. All right, they've cleared the wire now, and Vandenberg and Iowa ready to go from the 21. On the handoff, Jason White playing in his final game for Iowa straight ahead. Tom Wart made the tackle. Iowa will go quickly. 2 timeouts left. And that's out of bounds. Keenan Davis ruled to be juggling it as he went across the boundary.
Yeah, Fleming was reading that one too. He had a nice break on that ball. Good anticipation. Had that ball been thrown just a tad behind, Fleming may have gotten his hands on it.
Third and 4, 2:01 to go. Three-man rush after the Sooners showed blitz. Vandenberg throws incomplete. Wow. Hurst splattered Martin Manley.
We've talked about these corners all night long. We've talked on the one side with Jamel Fleming, but Hurst is just as good a player. You know, this secondary from Oklahoma, they've got some players. Have him inside with Aaron Colvin, another good player, and Von Harris is the other one back there. They've got some good secondary people. Big fourth down here.
Yeah, this is it. Iowa doesn't convert. It's definitely over. 4th and 4. Vandenberg flushed, running for his life, and didn't get there. Got to the 30, but was stopped by R.J. Washington and Tom Ward. Washington's had a really nice game. And it's a turnover on downs. Oklahoma will take it over at the 30-yard line. And a frustrating and disappointing year for the Sooners is going to end with a win. And Vandenberg is slow to get up. He made a great effort to try to get to that first down marker, but came up a little bit short.
They went 3-by-1 initially, and he wanted to go to the left side, but the coverage was there by DeMontre Hurst, and so now he has to try to run for it. And Washington, like you said, and then Wart is the guy who put a little punctuation mark on the end right there.
Let's check in with Heather Cox.
Sean, a very familiar face, has been on the Oklahoma sideline. Mike Stoops, he's even been in the coach's box at times. Now, strong indications are that Mike Stoops, who was let go by Arizona, will rejoin his brother Bob at Oklahoma in the very near future. Now, talk is that Brent Venables would stay on and become co-defensive coordinator with Mike. This in a year when Oklahoma's defense has come under fire, giving up more yards this season since Venables took control in 2004. And Sean, Venables has gone on record saying he would be open to Mike Stoops' return. Keep your eyes and ears posted for a possible announcement in the coming days.
Okay, Heather, been a lot of speculation about that ever since Mike Stoops was relieved as head coach down the road at the University of Arizona in the middle of the year. Sports Center coming up right after the game as Blake Bell carried for a couple of yards. For live post-game coverage of the Insight Bowl Trophy Award Ceremony, join us on ESPN 3. We're still taking a look at Vandenberg. It'd be a shame if he suffered an injury that's going to linger into the offseason on the last play of his season.
And Sean, our good friend and great coach in his last game, Norm Parker.
Yeah. He said he wouldn't be emotional. There's Norm. You know he's proud of the effort tonight. 70 years old. Has battled diabetes for a long time. He had a lower leg amputated last season. Began coaching in 1965, St. John's High School in Ypsilanti, Michigan. He told us yesterday those games were as fun, as intense, as nerve-wracking as any of the big games he coached in college. Long time at Michigan State with George Perlis. And a trusted aide to Kirk Ferentz throughout his entire time. You know, Kirk was talking yesterday about Bill Brazier, who was a longtime defensive coordinator for Hayden Fry, and just really the pillar of what you'd want in a defensive coordinator. And Norm Parker, Iowa's had another one for the last 13 years. He's a good man who's battled an awful lot in his life, and we wish him well.
And you know, the one thing about Norm is it was always a common sense approach, and he always had a great way of getting what he wanted done across to his players, because it never really matters what the coach knows. It matters what your players know, and he's done a great job his whole career of being able to express and communicate exactly what he wants done, and then he usually gets it done.
Never about him. No hint of an ego. Didn't want today to be about him. He said many times he couldn't retire because his wife doesn't want him to be home. But he said yesterday he knew that it was time to go. At age 70, with the health issues that he's battled, he just doesn't feel like he can give the Iowa program the 100% that it requires and has a right to expect. So he's going to head off into retirement, and here's wishing him a very happy and healthy retirement, because he's one of the truly nice people we've met.
Yep, one of the good guys in all of football.
Here comes the Gatorade bucket for Iowa grad Bob Stoops. He said it was a disappointing year. Said he wasn't sure if the #1 ranking at the beginning was too high. We had a very young team, so he's optimistic about next year, particularly if Landry Jones comes back. Obviously, it would help. If not, Blake Bell will battle Drew Allen for the quarterback job. But they won't have Ryan Broyles. They'll have Whaley coming back off injury at running back. Jazz Reynolds' future is unknown.
With that kidney.
Yes.
That's a talented kid, too. He's a big play capability.
It's Jay Norvell in the background, another Iowa grad. They have Bruce Kittle on the Oklahoma staff, who is an offensive tackle at Iowa. And they've had some terrific players back in those years, and what a coaching staff. Kirk Ferentz was, as you see, very young assistant to Hayden Fry. Spent 9 years as the O-line coach. Barry Alvarez, Dan McCarney, Bob Stoops, Bill Snyder. You're going to win some games with that group.
Yeah.
They're turning that whole Iowa program around. There's Bell into the end zone. Putting the finishing touches on a remarkable last 6 or 7 games of the season for Blake Bell. Starting in Kansas State when they unveiled that Belldozer package, and he hasn't stopped running into the end zone ever since. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. He scored 4 in their loss at Baylor.
Same power football. Millard on one side and Jaden Bird the other one. The linebacker lined up as a fullback is just good power. Beat you with numbers.
Another extra point up and good by Honeycutt. Well, that makes it a 17-point margin. Oklahoma was about a 2-touchdown favorite coming in. 45 seconds to go. 31-14, and looks like Stoops might have seen them coming.
Yes, Coach Stoops got to know this thing's going to happen here sooner or later, and you got to know right now he's thinking, where is that thing?
Well, he said, we talked to him the other day. Yeah, it's a disappointment. We expect to win the Big 12 title. Whoa, good move.
Stoopsy gets away with it.
But if 10 wins, Matt, and being in the top 15 in the country and a bowl win is a disappointing year, there are a lot of programs that would like to sign up for this as a disappointing year, and he still has some quickness.
He still has some good peripheral vision, too.
Yes.
Yeah, he followed that one all the way through.
Well, it's interesting to see what happens now in the coming years, because Oklahoma State doesn't look like it is going away anytime soon. That really has become a battle to see which is the best team in the state of Oklahoma. Damon Bullock, the return for the 25-yard line.
Head coach Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. And they've been recruiting very well, and his brother here.
Mikhail Gundy's on the Oklahoma staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're going to go to John Winkie, the backup quarterback, after Vandenberg was shook up on the last play. Junior Winkie. And now a couple of flags thrown. Both of them in the defensive backfield.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They still have 12 out there.
Well, that's the best way to protect the lead. Play a few extra men. And don't go to the right.
Stay off the ice.
Yeah. They send a receiver right over by the ice, and it's picked off by Wart, who managed to avoid the ice. Now he skates back toward the near side of the field and wisely goes down at the 40-yard line. Well, they got him. They got him that time. Now there's more ice over there. And you know what? They made us feel very guilty with that long delay to get the wire that was 90 yards away off the field. I think they should stop this game until they get all the ice off the field. I mean, that's a hazard.
That was an assault right there. They just went with, they took those Gatorade buckets. They were hitting somebody with that stuff. Didn't make a difference who it was.
Iowa's season is going to end at 7-6 after winning a bowl game after each of the previous 3 years. That streak comes to an end. Landry Jones with the final play of the game. You wonder if it's his final play as a Sooner. That'll be a big storyline in Sooner Nation in the coming weeks. Long-time pals, Parents and Stoops share one last word.
Larry Jones will have a decision to make, but I think he might be better off coming back.
I would agree with you. 3 straight bowl wins now for Oklahoma, and they finish the year at 10-3. Here's Heather Cox.
Sean, thanks so much. Coach, congratulations. 10 wins, a probable top 15 ranking, but you were the first to admit this has been an emotional and challenging season. Because of that, how much more meaningful is tonight's win?
Well, it's great to end this way for the seniors. It gives you momentum into the offseason for the guys coming back. Yeah, you know, and winning 10 games isn't easy. There's not a bunch of people that always do it. So anyway, it was fun also to, not fun, but to beat my alma mater is a little special too.
Indeed. In fact, you were just saying congratulations to my fellow Hawkeyes on a great season as you were congratulating some Iowa players. How does it change the complexion because you went to Iowa, because you've known Kirk Ferentz for over 30 years?
Well, and so many people. I was there 10 years. My brothers all went to school there, played there. So our family's very close with many, many people there. And I've always been very grateful and thankful for my opportunities there. And I know I'm not the head coach at Oklahoma.
All right, obviously we lost Heather's microphone. Apparently the cable was attached to the Skycam. Final score of tonight's Insight Bowl: Oklahoma 31.
He couldn't help it.
And Iowa 14. If they still let us, we'll see you Monday night for the Fiesta Bowl. Oklahoma Sooners are your Insight Bowl champs. Coming up next on ESPN, stay tuned for Sports Center and live post-game coverage of the Insight Bowl, including the awards ceremony, which you won't want to miss on ESPN 3. For Matt Miller, Heather Cox, our entire crew, Sean McDonough saying so long. Now for Sports Center.